That it is safe for me to have hit that button now.
Good morning, nope. Vietnam!
Swoosh, swoosh. I have blaster specifically. It's like a spray bottle.
That fucking blaster specifically. Do I have to go get my villainator? Do I have to go get the villainator?
You can go get your villainator. I'll fucking pull down my Nexus.
Nobody fucking cares about your Nexus. Ha! That's a double entendre meme thing because leak! Ha-ha!
Oh my god. Oh my Jesus. Anyway.
I had one. Sorry, what? Convenient out-of-frame domestic violence.
It's only violence if the bullet hits you.
Domestic terrorism, though?
And nobody will be able to know whether or not it does. Violence.
Ah!
Dick says don't shoot my wife. Too bad. Too bad, we did it anyway. Yeah, anyway. How is everyone doing today? It has been a little while, and it's going to continue to be a little while, because we are still in the middle of doing stuff, but we are at that stage where I have actually ran out of videos. So it's stream now, or I don't get to eat. That is basically where we are. Okay, obviously, the small one didn't do it. Is the big one loaded? Kind of? It's kind of loaded. It's got one dart in. There we go. Here we go. Now it's loaded.
my paint job, I will end you.
Not aiming for the paint job. That.
I wasn't even aiming.
That's it. That's it.
That was the last straw.
It's time for violence!
Getting hit with your own bullet was the last straw.
Yep, it's time for violence! That's where we're at.
How about this? You shoot me with any fucking gun and I swear to God I'll stop this paint job right now. I'll make you do it.
It's still time for violence. Oh god, the sniper's falling! Fine, I guess I'm using that. Wait, is it? No, it isn't prime.
Terror! I will end
It's not me you have to worry about. Hey, it's not 5 a.m., Dr. Osiris. It is 12 in the morning. 12:10 in the morning. Is this loaded? It is loaded, yes.
I just heard the little da-da-da-da-da of her feet as she went to get it.
Oh, did Terror run to get the dart?
Yes.
Oh my god.
You shot it and she fucking da-da-da-da-da out.
I'll go put the Busby blaster up there. Because that is how it be sometimes. Sometimes you just have a Busby blaster on hand. Anyway. How many Nerf guns do I have? You see, that is a good question.
The real question is how many wives does he have? And the answer may surprise you.
How many wives?
Yeah. I said what I said.
But I don't have any. Except for one. And it's
I was
here.
about to say, there's an email from Dickhead.
there's, it's right here. It's right here. This is blessed content. Hey, it is. I'm going to make that just a little smaller so that will fit better in frame.
Dickhead. Good morning, Razzle.
You're having way too much fun with this.
What's going on? You've got one weird look on your face. Yeah, I've got a weird look on my face. Your dad named you Dickhead.
His eyes say that he's seen some shit. Anyway. Thank you very much for becoming a member, Dr. Osiris. Thank you for becoming a member of the channel. I should actually get to the point where I get to structured content, but I'm not going to lie. It feels good to just sit down and hang out with you guys. So I'm going to do that for a little bit. Is that okay? Give me an H if that's okay, and give me a G if you don't have a fucking soul.
All of the gingers just fucking... Me and Dickhead get our own Pokemon. Come on, man.
There were no H's or G's for a little while, and it kind of scared me.
Everybody just left.
So that suddenly there's H's and also G's. Okay. There it be. Ow. I don't think I have a soul anymore, but an H anyway. H.G. Wells. H, but also G, because I sold mine for frozen Pop-Tarts. Hey. Frozen Pop-Tarts are pretty good, not gonna lie. They used to be my shit when I was a kid. Now I prefer warmed Pop-Tarts, because, well, I forgot what it was to fucking be happy or something. I don't know. Something about the transition from childhood into adulthood makes your taste buds go, you're right, I do enjoy things that me as a child absolutely fucking couldn't stand. Have I seen any of Has-Been Hotel or Hell of a Boss? Ha! Cartoon Contrarian. I have watched every episode of the one episode of Has-Been Hotel, and every episode of Hell of a Boss on repeat for a good while now. So my thoughts are this. I love the universe that Vibsy created in both of those series. I like the fact that Hell of a Boss is basically just what happens in the slums, whereas Has-Been Hotel is what happens in the high rises in the pentagram. So I like the dynamics and I like the world. So yeah, I am a fan of both Has-Been Hotel and of Hell of a Boss. So there is that. Frozen brown sugar pop charts with sriracha is oddly satisfying. Ghost Chan, I feel like you don't need to be a member of my channel anymore after saying that. I think that's worthy of booting.
Ball, Evie.
I'm kidding, Ghost Chan. I'm kidding completely. But in all seriousness, so do you prefer Hell of a Boss more than Has-Been? So right now, I prefer Hell of a Boss to Has-Been, but here's the thing. I preferred the Has-Been pilot to the Hell of a Boss pilot. So, as much as I prefer Hell of a Boss right now, I recognize that's because Hell of a Boss has given me 2 more episodes worth of reasons to care. Has-Been Hotel made a much better impression with its first like, pilot. So I'm hoping that the rest of Has-Been Hotel will do the same. But it's going to be very hard to top Good Father Stolas right now. Not going to lie.
Oh my god, story points, get the fuck over yourself. I just want my Evie.
Leslie Henderson, can ST look at leftist CU space CK? Look, if you're going to, first of all, if you're going to spell any word, spell it correctly. Secondly, if you're going to call me a cuck, just fucking do it. Seriously, you know what? Here, let me double check to make sure. Yeah, look, you can say it. You can say the whole thing. You can say the whole word. Don't be a fucking coward.
I will protect the CB with my life.
Don't be a coward. Can I look at leftist CUCK? I don't know what you're asking of me. Can I look at leftist cuck? I mean, do you want me to look in a mirror or something? I don't know what you're asking at that point.
What should I name my Evie?
You should name it V, so it has trauma. In Pokemon Adventures, the Eevee that Red gets is named V, and it was subjected to traumatic abuse from Team Rocket, and it caused it to be unstable, so it would flip between the different evolutions whenever its emotions went out of hand. Wait, did I see that Trump's he's not signing the stimulus bill unless they amend it to $2K a person? Where is that? Hold on.
Raziel, dickhead, I want you to each take one with you.
Because this is news to me. I wasn't calling you. There's a channel. Oh, okay, fair enough. There's a channel called Leftist Cuck. See, now I'm curious, but God damn it, Washington Post! Why do you want me to spend $1 to read your fucking thing? This is why people don't read WAPO. You're making me go to Yahoo to do this shit.
I will catch all the Pokemon as soon as I pet my Eevee.
Fucking hell. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, so obviously I've got to take care of that real quick. Hold on, Jack and Quill, give me a second. Obviously, now that that's done, I have to throw money at you, which is our agreement anywho. Give me a sec. We're gonna go to my PayPal!
Elba?
Where are you? Where the fuck are you? Why is... Okay.
How many Pokeballs do I have?
There we are. Dude.
Come here.
Dude, give me just a second. Yeah, it's gonna send out of there. That's fine. There, Jack. You should...
Oh, fuck.
You should have your thing. You should have your thing. Yeah, I know stuff's in the Discord DMs. I just... so people can see. It is perfect. It is exactly what we need. I'm going to have to figure out a way to, like, make this kind of a motion picture, but I think that won't be too terribly hard. I might just, like, drop it into to a wallpaper engine and move some of the pieces around with that. And then it should be, I should be able to do what I need to do with it. So remember when I said that if we hit $3,000 on the goal for the repairs, that I'd go ahead and do a voiceover? Well, this is how I planned on doing that. I just wanted to get this made first, and I did not make it because I am not a good artist, but this was made by Jack and Quill. So for those of you who are watching, this is probably your sign that you should go, like, commission them for shit. Ugh. Comrade Mouse is sitting a little off. Nah, he's slumped. He's slumped in his chair. Is what's happening. Here, we'll make it a little easier for people to see. See? He's just slumped in it. It'll be perfect. Yeah, I like the peeling. And there's just a picture of the fucking gulag over there. Okay. Ow. Why do I use Windows in light mode? Wait, you can do Windows in dark mode? I wasn't aware of that.
It's meant to be. My Eevee got me a raspberry from a bush.
Raspberry. So, why do I use Windows? Because it's compatibility. Things are compatible with Windows. That's why I use Windows. Like, that's... Like, I don't... You're asking the dude whose philosophy is about pragmatism why he's using the most ubiquitous and easiest to incorporate other programs into operating system. Dang. Like, I'll be honest, if there was one thing that made me realize, no, I'm sticking with Windows, as much as it has a butt-fuck ton of problems, it is the fact that Shoe-on-Head uses a Mac, and as a result, she has to play Among Us with us using an emulator that is emulating an Android tablet. And that is how she has to play Among Us with us. It is because of that and that alone that I will not be getting a Mac. Never get to watch the streams going. So yeah, it is a late stream because I've been up and working on the house with Raz. So you know, as good as Macs are, they are definitely not worth the money that you shove into them. Unfortunately, never expected me to cover Jimmy, mainly because of this. The rant thing that he's doing right now. But give me a second here. Who would win, a Robo Jesus or a Force-sensitive Muhammad? Well, a Force-sensitive Muhammad would definitely be strong, but a Robo Jesus would still be God, so... Would...
Jesus isn't God. You know this.
In a Trinitarian view, yes, he is. In the predominant view, yes.
Into one view.
Oh my god.
Don't know. Here we are.
Contrast is a little high. Let me see if I can... Wait, I know why it is.
No, turn that up. Turn it up.
That better?
Ow.
That should have improved that just a little bit.
Get off. Stupid bitch.
Give me a second to read over something real quick. Okay. Is Raz yelling at a cat, the puppo, or Pokemon? Cat at that point, I think.
Yeah. It's our dickhead daughter. She won't fucking leave me alone. She keeps trying to step in paint.
Yeah. Is that my girlfriend or wife? Yes. That's the answer to that. Yes.
You know what, Terror? You know what, Terror? Step in the paint. Get in the paint bucket. Paint yourself chocolate brown. Come on.
Well, especially since we're going to be ripping up all this anyway eventually. It doesn't matter if it gets some paint on it.
I don't care about the floor. I care about my daughter getting paint on her fucking coat.
She's already brown, honey.
No! She's like 40% like a light caramel brown, and then the rest of her is stark white. She gets any of this on her, she is going to look like she ran through mud.
Yeah, probably.
And we can't fucking wash her because she doesn't like baths.
Okay, yes, but we could always do the thing where you put the cat in the trash can, and then you just take the hose and you just go, wash! And then you just let them out.
Akane.
Yeah, I
Not
know.
doing it again.
I know. Cat keeps sharpening her claws on the back of my leather chair. Do you see the pinpricks on the back of this chair? That is because of my cat. My cat's doing. It happens. Just use a squirt gun till she's clean. Just take a super soaker. All right, it's time to go. All right. That said, let's go ahead and talk about our first bit here.
Bit? Is this a comedy show?
Oh my god. I literally just hit the record button, you asshat.
Sorry.
Oh my god.
Sorry. I didn't know.
Jesus fucking Christ.
This is a lot better than when I was by myself.
I love you.
Sure you do.
Now the question is, am I telling you that or am I telling myself that?
I hope it's you.
I have no idea at this point. Okay. So it looks like Congress actually did finally kind of agree on some kind of a stimulus bill. But there's some problems with it. And I think most of us know kind of like the big issues with it. It's a $900 billion stimulus bill. I want to do some quick math here. Some quick maths, if you will. Just humor me, right? We have the big screen calculator. So it's a $900 billion stimulus bill, right? So it's this number. And if we divide that up by the population of the United States, which is about 327 million, Uh, yes, that is the population of the U.S.
I can find the email if it has the real numbers.
No, it'll be fine, because it just has to be roughshod. It'll be fine. We come up with a number that looks kind of like this. Now, what does this mean? Well, this means that for a 900 billion stimulus bill, if you weren't spending so much time bailing out big businesses, you would have $2,752. Now, technically, that $752 there, you could use that bit right there, and then just have that for people who have small businesses, when small businesses need to be pushed through, when they need to get assistance. Because, for example, my parent owns a small business, and I don't know what button I just hit, but it was the bad button. And, any little bit of help right now would be great, because in any other economy that wasn't being literally bent over a signpost, and I don't want to be that graphic on a video, but you kind of get the idea. Any other economy would be fine for people who own stuff like antique shops or card shops or stuff like that. But it's very hard for businesses like that to actually function right now, because people are stockpiling for their necessities. They're worried about the shit going on with what happened with the election. The United States is not in a good place here, but the point is, we're all getting $600 based on what the current COVID relief bill looks like. And at the very least, with the amount of money that was pushed forward, we could have afforded $2,000 per person and been fine. Like, consider that other countries like New Zealand, Canada, these countries, when they did their stimulus bill to deal with the COVID relief, what did they do? Well, they gave their people enough money to continue locking down so they could get a handle on the virus. New Zealand managed to eliminate COVID without a vaccine because they had enough to just lock everyone down. America loves its people so much that they gave us all $1,200 and then said, don't worry, we have more bills coming. More stimulus will be coming. And then it just fucking didn't. Leave it to politicians to lie. Go right ahead. Leave it to them to lie. Who's ever accused a politician of the crime of being honest? But you have to wonder, with the amount of money being pushed for in a stimulus bill like this, why are we not getting paid more? And to any of you morons, I'm just going to go ahead and call you that. To any of you morons, to any of you dipshits, to any of you fucking imbeciles who try to get the comment, they could have just given you nothing. I am so sorry that your parents did not raise you properly to where your standards of how something that you pay into, because you pay taxes, so you pay into your government, you're okay with them not taking care of you because, they didn't have to. The government is supposed to be the servant of the people. That's what it should be. That's what it should be, at the end of the day. If we are paying taxes into the government, they should not be the rulers over us. They should be our servants. That's how, in a normative system, that's what we should have. But what do we have instead right now? Well, we have basically rulers, insofar as we can influence them somewhat democratically with our broken election system. But I have to keep circling back to that whole, why just $600? It feels almost like an insult. So many other countries that are not as rich as the United States, that they don't have as much money as we do, were able to afford taking care of their citizens. But the United States, we couldn't. And I'm sure there's going to be some idiot in the comments that goes, well, we have more people. Yeah, more people means we also have more people paying into taxes, which basically nullifies your argument. So sit back down. It's okay. Grade school's that way. If you need to go there, that's cool. You can come back to the video when you're done. Okay? Simple math is simple. So, you have to wonder, why are we getting so little? Other countries have done so much better. And instead of doing what we were kind of promised, which was a series of bills that would be used to make sure that people could sustain themselves during this time, we have one of the highest employment rates, or unemployment rates, in the United States history. We have a crippled economy. We have people who are barely able to scrape by, and I'm lucky. I'm happy that I have the privilege to have a YouTube channel. This means that I can work from home, I don't have to go anywhere, and more people being at home stuck watching YouTube ends up kind of working out for me. I get to speak kind of from a position of privilege here. So, but I've had friends and I've seen people who are completely screwed over by this, and they're basically getting a slap in the face. There was a post that Raz showed me earlier about leaving a quarter tip on a table and what that says to a waiter. Because if you don't leave anything on the table, oh, well, they forgot their tip. But if you leave something like a quarter, something like $1, that's a slap to the face. Because the waiter sees that and goes, no, they knew, they understood that I needed a tip, and they gave me this anyway. What do you think that people in Congress think $600 does? It's a lot of money, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. There were times where $600 was, more than I made in 2 weeks of working when I was working at Walmart. But at the end of the day, what is $600 in the face of everything else that's been happening? In the face of everything that has gone on during this whole ordeal? What is $600 going to do? If somebody is not allowed to be kicked out of their house because they can't make rent, so the rent is piling up, what is the $600 going to do when it's time for them to get evicted? I can tell you right now, there's almost no places, especially not here, where you can get rent for $600. That's just rent. That's not utilities. That's not groceries. That's nothing. That's nothing. Do you think that $600 is what people in Congress, who are, generally speaking, more well-to-do than most of us, do you think $600 is what they think we think a lot of money is? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. But it feels like that. It does. Now, I know that there's a bit of a curveball I'm going to be hitting everybody with. If the stuff that is being said in this in this article that I'm about to put up is true, then I may actually have to agree with Trump on something, and that's kind of weird. But apparently, according to Yahoo Money, it was also apparently according to Washington Post, but, well, I'm sorry, Washington Post, I'm not going to throw money at you to read your article when other people have already plagiarized it. I'm sorry. But President Trump threatens that coronavirus relief bill, he will not sign it unless it has $2,000 in it for the stimulus check. President Donald Trump signals that he may not sign the $900 billion stimulus bill approved by Congress, describing part of it as wasteful spending. Oh boy, it's almost like when you break it down with math. Yeah, there's a lot of money just going to fuck all where. The bill they're now planning to send back to my desk is so much different than anticipated, he said in a video posted on his Twitter account. I'm also asking Congress to immediately get rid of the wasteful and unnecessary items for this legislation and to send me a suitable bill. Trump then targeted the stimulus check under the current legislation, asking Congress to amend the bill and increase the ridiculously low $600 to $2,000, or $4,000 for a couple. The direct payments are $600 per individual and $600 per child under the bill. Nancy Pelosi welcomed the president's initiative to raise the amount of payments, saying that there's support for the measure in the Democratic-controlled House. Says Republicans repeatedly refused to say what amount the president wanted for direct checks, she responded in a tweet on Tuesday evening, and at last the president has agreed to $2,000. Democrats are ready to bring this to the floor this week by unanimous consent. The final $900 billion stimulus bill passed both chambers of Congress on Monday night with overwhelming support. Of course it did, because it was fucking breadcrumbs. Like, I don't understand how. I guess we just have to keep on going back to that $600 thing. Like, why the fuck $600? Who? That's not enough to get people through a fucking month. Let alone the amount of time that coronavirus has been pegging us on the fence line. But around $166 billion of the package will be used for the second round of stimulus payments. $166 billion of the package, huh? Okay, well, let's do a quick. Is that true? $166 billion. There's our number. Let's divide that again by 327 million. And yeah, that at least makes sense. That is at least close to the number that we were thinking there. $507. That's close to 600. That's ballpark enough for this. But isn't it sad that the citizens in the United States are so ill thought of by members of Congress that when we are given a stimulus bill, less than a fifth of that bill has anything to do with us? Now, I'm sure you could make an argument that, well, the amount that's going for other corporations and stuff, that's, they're citizens too. I'm sorry. You're asking the leftists to care about somebody who's in the bourgeoisie? I'm sorry, no. Sorry, I can't. I can't muster the cares. I can't muster the fucks to give. I can't. And at the very least, we did get something. But again, I'm sure there's going to be some moron. And, normally I don't try to insult my audience, but I will. If you want to be the type of person who goes, don't be so ungrateful, at least you're getting anything, I'm not being ungrateful. I'm in a position where that $600 is basically going to be a buffer to prevent me from being completely and totally ass-ended by the amount of repairs that I had to do on my house. But as far as my bills and stuff, I have those taken care of. I have those covered. I am not the type of person that needs this bill. It will be nice. It will help. It will help smooth things over, given the house repairs I'm having to do. But at the end of the day, if I never receive this, that's fine. That's fine by me. But there are people who do need this. There are people who do need this bill. And not just this one. There are people who needed at least 5 of these, if not more. There are people who needed their government to actually take care of them. At the end of the day, we take care of the government. We pay our taxes. The least the government can do then is take care of us as well. That's what it should do. In a normative world, in a normative system, that's what should happen. But instead, we get this situation where we get handed crumbs. We get handed crumbs. Now, let's take a look here. Inside the $900 stimulus bill, new legislation includes this. So, how much is going on here? We have $325 billion in aid to small businesses. Cool. $45 billion in aid to transportation. $82 billion in aid to education. $63 billion in aid to healthcare. That seems like an awfully small number, though, when you consider the amount of healthcare that actually had to happen, COVID. We have $10 billion here for childcare. That, again, seems like a really slow number. $25 billion in rental assistance and eviction moratorium. So somebody's actually going to need to apply for the rental assistance? Still. And then nutrition and agriculture, $26 billion. So I wonder how much of this aid to small businesses here is actually going to make it to small businesses? How much do you want to bet? Because I can tell you, as somebody whose family owns a small business, they received next to nothing when they applied for the last relief. So how much of that do you think is actually going to go to them? I know that's an anecdote. I know it's anecdotal evidence. I understand. But it is also reality. It's a reality that I deal with. When I go and I walk into their shop and I see that there's nobody here. During a time of year where last year business was completely and totally booming. But, you know, people aren't shopping there right now because everything else that's going on. COVID panic, COVID just in general, the election panic. You'd think, at the end of the day, that people like that would actually get a little bit of help, because realistically, what you don't want is you don't want the Walmarts and the Targets and the Starbuckses to be the only things that are left when this is over. You don't want just, you know, your bourgeois chains to be the ones that are left whenever we actually get back to some form of normalcy. But that always circles us back to, why $600? Why such a small amount? Why does our government think that that's going to help? And they can't sit here and give us the lie they did before of, oh, well, more bills will be coming soon. We'll make sure that, you know, you guys are taken care of because you're American citizens. We love you. We don't have to accept that lie now. We swallowed that fucking lie 8 months ago. And here we are. It is December. And they're still fighting over a bill. And how much you want to bet if they're still fighting over this soon, Mitch McConnell's just going to go, okay, Congress is out. We'll manage this some other time. I have no idea. I know that it's not enough. It's not enough for most people. It's kind of a spit in the face, honestly. But go ahead. Be that person that says, be grateful you got anything at all. Go ahead. And while you're at it, go ahead and shovel mud into your face. Yay. That's how I feel about that. Okay, now apparently something happened in the chat. Apparently something happened in the chat that I need to take care about. 1 second. We did get a super chat from Jesse Shodil. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'd be thrilled to see members of Congress try to live on what they think is good enough for us. It'd be the new reality TV hit. Yeah. It'd be like Undercover Boss, except the boss actually has to live like the people that he employs, not just gets to spy on them. You doing okay, hon?
Yeah, I'm just reading over someone's argument over the fact that a, quote, tip is not me paying you for your service, it's me showing my appreciation for your good work. It's me giving you a treat for doing your job, it's not me paying your salary. As somebody that was a fucking waitress, okay, let me point it out to you. Waitresses get $3 an hour. $3 an hour, if that, before taxes. After taxes, it's less than $1. Your tip makes my life and my bills. You not knowing that shows that you've never worked as a waiter or waitress or the food service industry near that specific thing. You need to research it.
So, Iron Fang, do you live in the United States? Do you? Like, because that will affect this a lot. Because if you don't live in the U.S., I can understand your perspective. That works fine. But in the United States, you are paying their salary. I'm sorry if you don't fucking understand that. But in the U.S., if you are tipping, you are paying their salary. You are the only one paying their salary. That's it. That's all you're doing. That is the $2, it's $2.15 an hour that you get for being a waitress. That money just goes into taxes. That literally, that money disappears into taxes. You never see it.
Legitimately, this is a thing that I was told at one of the jobs that I waitressed for. I sat down with my boss my very first day, and he said, "What tips do you want to claim?" And I said, "Am I supposed to claim all of them?" And he said, "Yes, you're supposed to, but if you do, it takes more from you. I have to take your money because you're claiming it." Most waitresses don't even fucking claim their tips at the end of the night. They have to not do that because it gets fucking taken for taxes.
Iron Fang, are you willing to hop in and have a conversation? Because you're really fucking wrong. And I would not mind explaining to you how, why, and where you're really fucking wrong. But till then, let me explain why. It's not a false equivalence, nor is it a fallacy. You said, I'm giving you extra, I'm giving you a treat. In America, it's not extra or a treat. The tip is their fucking wage. That's all it is. The tip is their wage. This is people who are not actually poor shitting on an actual poor person for not having money needed to tip someone because you don't want to be a civilized human being. No, Iron Fang, nobody's shitting on you for being poor. We're saying if you cannot afford to tip, do not go out to eat at a place that has a tip, because all you're doing is fucking over your waiter. That is exactly what you're doing. Your waitstaff appropriately, this is not a me problem, this is a your culture is crap, and you don't care about your people or you would fix this problem. Alright, dipshit, listen here. This is not a thing that I have control over. If I had the power to change that, I would. But I don't. Obviously, you are overestimating the power of a single American citizen. If you tip...
Wait, no. Okay, I'm going to get over here and I'm going to kind of peek my fucking head in.
Okay.
Right? Because what you just said was that waitstaff has to share the tip?
No.
When you tip, if I am your waitress, okay, I am making $2 an hour to serve your dipshit ass, hoping that you're not a fucktard. And then, on top of giving you excellent service, you tip me $20 on, let's say, a $50 bill. Not that... That's amazing. That's a great-ass fucking tip. That makes my night. That goes straight in my fucking pocket, and nobody else gets it. Because that's actually a fucking thing in the waitressing industry, is the fact that other waitresses and waiters will steal your tips. They will steal the money that's left on the table, they will take it, and they will not tell you, and you will get fucking nothing. Nothing. I had nothing, and I was a waitress. Don't talk about this, oh, you've never experienced poor. Homeless? No jobs.
We were literally fucking homeless together, you fuck ass.
Like, we lived out of our car, and I worked at Panera Bread and as a fucking waitress. Like, don't fucking talk to me about you were never poor. I was dirt poor. So was he. We've both experienced it. Stop living on your tipping isn't a salary. Waitresses don't make salary, you fucking entitled fuck! Okay, I'm done.
You've basically, because of the way that the United States works, this is a thing that happens in the U.S. specifically. If you do not tip your waitress, they are working for you for free. I don't know how to send you a direct chat. I'm serious, just to let you know. I want some scribing to you because your viewers are harassing me for being bored in them. I feel as though that needs to be retyped because I don't know exactly what's going on there. But yeah, no. We live in the United States, and the reason that we are getting so upset here is that if you are in the U.S., this is how tipping works. Nobody's harassing you. But if you want to say something stupid and expect people in the live chat not to respond, then I don't know what to tell you. Maybe the internet isn't the place for you. Just saying. It would be like if I went... Liam Triforce was streaming earlier, and I was watching that stream. If I hopped into that stream and started just calling him a fuck-ass for all of the points that he was making while he was streaming, likely people in the stream would jump on me, which is pretty normal in a public forum, which is what we're doing right now. Been saying the entire time, I want waitressing to be paid a fair wage, not exploited. No, you don't understand. You're not... Waitresses are not exploited through tipping. They are exploited by their employers. Tipping your waitress does not exploit them. It is their employers that are exploiting them. And you have to work within the system where they are being exploited. Like, that's... Nobody is supporting exploitation. We're saying that if you live in a... So, if you are in a system where if you don't tip your waitress or your waiter, they don't get to eat. By not tipping them, you're exploiting them? Or by tipping them, you're exploiting them? By making sure that they can be paid to eat, you're exploiting them? This is like the fucking stupid libertarian point that if you're poor and you're receiving welfare, you're being exploited by your government. It's a dumb fucking argument. And you don't have to make it. You don't. You're just standing idly by and not letting them get paid and harassing people who cannot give more than they have. If you cannot give more than you have, then do not go. Don't go to... You have fast food restaurants that actually pay their employees minimum wage. You can go there. There are places like Moe's and Chipotle that aren't strictly fast food that you can go to that you don't have to tip at. If you don't want to tip, you have options. But the option should never be, let me take advantage of my waiter. Let me take advantage of my waitress. That's not what you do. You have options. Like, I'm sorry. Explained this already. I only go out to eat on Celebration, and I will not tolerate someone telling me that because I'm poor to tip that I worked it. You're entitled to celebrate, but don't do it in a way that's at... Okay, let me explain. You're entitled to celebrate, but don't do it in a way that comes at the cost to somebody else.
For instance, you don't have enough money to tip. You have $1 extra. You have just enough for food, right? Okay, you go out and you take up some poor waitress's time and a table, making her lose money because she has to give that table to you. You are not only not paying them money, but you are taking up a space. You're creating an opportunity cost for somebody. Now, if you want to sit down and explain to them, I only have $1 for tip, then your waitress can spend an appropriate amount of time on you. If you want to do that. But that's going to be an awkward conversation. It really is. If you're too poor to do anything to give you... Okay, cool. Then don't eat out. Eat at a place that you can afford. But if you're in the States, assume that 20% of the meal cost... Add 20% of your meal's cost on top of it. Hell yeah, Pumpkin J!
Because that is what you're doing. Like, you need to tip your waiting staff. If you don't want to tip them, that's fine. Don't eat at their places. Or, even better, you know what you can do? Here's another thing you can do. Just throwing this out there. Order the food and take it home. Order it as takeout. Order it to go. Then you're not taking up a waitress's time. You can still have the same food, made to the same specifications, but it is not... You're not exploiting somebody at that point. Also, while union busting is not illegal, or while union busting is illegal...
saying the word union.
Yeah. So I'll go and throw it out here right now. In the United States, we have things called at-will states. I live in an at-will state. If I'm working at a Walmart in an at-will state, this is just an example because it is a place I've worked at before. If I say I would like to start a workers' union, what's going to happen is my employer is going to hear about it, have a talk with me about unions, and then they're going to find something that I've done to get me fired. They can't fire me for trying to form a union, but in an at-will state, they can fire you for any reason that it is not illegal to fire you for. They can literally say, he made 3 turns instead of 2 turns at the check stand, and I told him to only do 2 turns. That's insubordination. We're firing him. You can legally do that in the United States. It is called at-will employment. It is a thing that I'm fighting against. It is a thing that I don't want to be here. But it is unfortunately the reality of being here. You can't just form a union in most places. And when you form a union in the United States, you get punished for it in many cases. I have a friend of mine who works over at UWF in Pensacola, Florida. And he is part of the workers' union there. And you know what happens to him? Their union encompasses about 5 people, and then a couple representatives from outside of there, but the people within his location that are part of that union are about 5 people. And whenever pay raises are given to everyone else in the company, they are not given to the people who work under the union. The union has to come and fight for that separately. Jobs punish you for sticking up for yourself. That's the reality of employment in the United States. It fucking sucks. It does. And we're doing what we can to fix it. We, as in me and other people who are my constituents on the left. But you can't just tell a country, if you didn't like it, you would have fixed it. You're encompassing billions of people. Or millions of people, really. Not billions. That was a misspeaking. I do want to thank Pumpkin J for the $2 super chat. If you're in the U.S., tip your waiting staff. Dr. Osiris, I do want to thank for the $99 super chat. Dix for the $4.99. There are tons of super awesome ways to celebrate that won't cost you your last dollar and cost a waitress money. And then from Carrie Mooney, $10 with no context. So thank you for that as well. But no, the point is, at the end of the day, you have options. You have things you can do where tipping is concerned. But in the United States, if you want to go, well, why not just make a union? There's thousands of reasons why you won't or can't. The fucking Hilton punishes its people. And you know what ends up happening? This is what happens when you make a union. I support unions. I want more people to be in unions. But the reality is, if you make a fresh union in a company, you get isolated. Because what happens is other people in the company end up being de-incentivized from being part of the union. And they end up getting raises when the union doesn't. And that's what happened at the Hilton. That's what's happened to my friend in the UWF. This is a pretty bog standard thing. They go, oh, well, the union they're going to deal with union wages, union-based wages. And so they end up getting their wages stipend. And when that bottleneck of wages happens, do you know what happens afterwards? You know what's a great thing that happens after that? Then people get to go in ad hoc and say, because this is a thing that people like Ben Shapiro and Steven Crowder and others have done, they go, you know, statistically, when you're in a union, you make less money. And then they go to all those examples where the corporations directly punished their union members. You get turned into the right-wing scapegoat. Isn't that fucked up? It's horrible, but it is a thing that happens. It's the reality of being in the United States. You're asserting I didn't know that, but I did. But I can't help if I can't give you more than I have to give. It's not my fault some BS country allows that kind of slave labor. You're right. It's not your fault that the... Okay, so let me go ahead and reframe your argument, okay? Let's say you lived in the United States during the plantation slave era, okay? This is going to be fun. Hypothetically, you live in the United States during the plantation slave era. You You buy a slave. You put them on your plantation. You put them to work. You then treat them the same way every other plantation owner does. And then you say, it's not my fault for the system that allowed you to be exploited. But at this point, in operating within that system, you have chosen, knowing the realities of that system, you have chosen to exploit labor. You have chosen actively to exploit the working class. And then your scapegoat was, it's not my fault things are this way. You're right. It's not your fault things are this way. But it is your fault knowing that things are this way when you operate in such a shitty manner within that system. That is your fault. I don't have the capability to start a restaurant that you all are coming from a state of privilege in which you're expecting people can do something we should be able to do. It's not a state of privilege to say that you should tip. That's not being in a state of privilege.
How about this? You can go celebrate in your budget, but if your budget does not include the wage labor cost of the person attending to you, you shouldn't go to that place. You can't pay for the labor of a mechanic to fix your car? You don't go to that fucking mechanic, right? You can't include that in your fucking budget, then don't go to the fucking restaurant where tips are required.
If you would like an active example from my own life, would you like to know why I haven't been streaming that often? The reality is, I've been waking up every day. And from the minute that I wake up, I go into the kitchen and I start working on it. Because I can afford the materials to fix my house, but I cannot afford a contractor to do it properly. A contractor could come out here and figure out exactly what's needed, take a single trip to get everything, and then be done. I am not that, though. I had to build my kitchen blind. Because I have no idea what I'm doing. But guess what? Even with all of the help of every subscriber on this channel, I am still not able to afford a contractor. I cannot afford the contractor's labor in order to fix my house. So I have to do it myself. I can afford the materials, but I cannot afford their labor. If you go out to eat and you have enough money for the meal but not enough to tip, you can afford the food, but you cannot afford the labor. So you pay for the food, take it home. Don't take up the time of someone else. Don't take up their labor. Because at the end of the day, you can afford the food. You'll have the same meal at home as you would have in that restaurant. You can celebrate almost identically. But you cannot afford the labor. I'm not being a hypocrite because I exist in this exact reality where I can't afford the labor of a contractor to fix my house properly. In 2 or 3 years' time, I might find that there's something that I irreversibly fucked up when rebuilding this house. And in so figuring that out, it will be my fault because I'm the one who rebuilt it. But I can't afford a contractor's labor. So that's the reality I have to exist in. I cannot exploit the contractor, but I can afford the materials. Do not exploit your labor. You are not a victim. If you are too poor, that is understandable. Do you know what I did when I was not able to afford a tip? I didn't go out.
We wouldn't eat there. We'd choose somewhere else.
The amount of times that me and Raz had the conversation of, we want to eat, but I don't have the energy to cook. I've been working too much. Both of us had been working too much. And we had to go, well, we want to eat, but we can't afford tip. Or the money that we would spend on tip needs to be saved because the car needs to be repaired. Or some other thing. I've never not been poor. That's not a reality I've had the opportunity to live in. We had to go, no, we're not going to eat somewhere that has a tip. Because at the end of the day, if we ate somewhere that required tip and we could not provide an adequate tip, we were fucking over that waiter, taking full advantage of them.
They essentially were working that hour for free. Because literally you don't get anything back in taxes after taxes have been taken out. Like, if you work as a waitress or a waiter, you get maybe $5 a week. So that's $10 every 2 weeks. That's not enough to pay rent. So if you can't eat, if you can't tip, then eat somewhere else. If you cannot tip, then do not go to that restaurant that basically requires you tip. Do not ask someone to work for free.
Well, Keelan, if you want to point to places where they've been insulted, I insulted them. At various points. I don't know exactly what I said.
They're talking about the chat. Keelan specifically talking about the chat and the fact that this dude is complaining about the fact that chat is harassing and bullying him, when in all reality, they've literally just been stating the same things we have, just through our mouths.
Yeah, sell it off. A few dollars isn't good. It has to be 15 to 20%. In order for a waiter... Okay, so consider this. When you eat at a restaurant, you're spending between 30 minutes to an hour at that table, generally speaking. If I pay $10 for a meal, and Raz pays $10 for a meal, we have a $20 meal. Hell, this is what we did today. Our meal was $28 when you considered the food cost, and then you considered the drink cost. If I pay 20% of that, my waiter gets about $5. $5. Little over. For about an hour's worth of work. $5. Think about that. That's already less than minimum wage. That amount is less than minimum. Most waiters, especially with COVID being a thing, are working 3 to 4 tables at once. Not much more. There's not as many people in the restaurants. If every other table is paying the same amount as me, this waiter might be making $15. It's not a livable wage until he's making $20. Not here in Georgia.
I mean, hell, somebody did a thing where in Arizona it's the cheapest place to live, and that's assuming that you live in an apartment by yourself and you have everything, and it's $1,200 to live.
And the apartment is a studio.
Yeah, it's a studio, and all of your bills are minimum, and you don't really buy a lot of food. Like, $20 is a livable wage. 7 to 15 isn't. 15 if you were making like Instacart or DoorDash is like your side job, and you made very little money from it, you could probably scrape by, but you could not scrape by on just 10 or 7 or anything like that.
Yep. The amount of times that my celebration has been, and will probably be, let's be honest, chucking a bunch of chicken nuggets from Kroger in the fryer. That I actually wasn't it literally just like a month and a half ago that our like celebrating was you were taking a bath and I made chicken nuggets and we put barbecue sauce in a dipper. And I just brought a bowl of chicken nuggets into the bathroom, and we celebrated because you got to relax while we were eating chicken nuggets. Just cheap-ass Kroger brand chicken nuggets. That was our celebration. Like, that's...
I think we should move forward. I think anything more that this person has to say, they can say it into the void, because honestly, we've said all we can. And if you're privileged enough to come from a lifestyle where you were taught never to tip, then I don't know what to say to you. You should probably be living in a different country, because literally only the US and Canada forces tips. But if you live in the US, then if you're going to somewhere that you are having a waitress or waiter serve you, then you should definitely budget out a tip. If you can't afford it, then don't eat there. You have to budget it in. And if you go to a restaurant and you don't budget out and you waste that waitress's time, then really what are you celebrating other than a free hour of that waitress's life that they could have been getting money from someone else? In my opinion, waitresses are just the legal prostitutes, because you have to put yourself on a pedestal and you have to make yourself look nice and you have to wear certain clothes that are nice and primp and show off your body. Not in a slutty way, but in like a very clean manner and clean cut. And if you don't look and act like the absolute respectable person that everybody thinks you should be, and take all of the bullshit from the customers, then they're not going to leave a tip. So in my opinion, as somebody who was a waitress, waitressing is just legal prostitution, where you serve food.
Also, Iron Fang, you said false equivalency fallacy twice when nobody committed such fallacy. Unless somebody in the chat did that I'm not noticing. I came into a place and pointed out that there's a person who was taught by America a different thing on what tipping is than you were, that I am being jumped on because of your opinion. Well, because you're arguing that you shouldn't have to do something when the system is already in place that forces it. Like, yes, tipping should be a treat. You're right. I agree with you up to that point. But we do not currently live in a system where it is. You said when I'm tipping, I'm not paying your salary. But in the United States, you are in fact doing just that. That's... like...
And to claim that you aren't is completely incorrect.
You also can say, I don't like that Americans are letting them be exploited, but, at the... I can only tip what the hell I can. That's not... Okay, so... You're right. You can... It's been explained to you several times. Yeah, you can only tip what you can afford. But if you can't afford to leave a reasonable tip, then don't go out to eat. It just... I don't know how many times we have to say the same fucking thing. And you say, Americans did this. Like, yes, it just so happens that the politicians that allowed a system like this, where restaurants get to exploit their people for labor, that system was in fact put in by people who are Americans. But when you say Americans did this, you are creating a fallacy yourself. You are engaging in hasty generalization. At least in your language. If your intent is to not say that me, fucking Jack and Quill, Raz, everybody here are personally responsible for the material conditions of the United States, then I agree with you. But if you're trying to hold us to the fire that we have not changed the system yet, bitch, what do you think my channel is? It is literally my attempt to change the material conditions of the world we're in. Kiritan YouTube super chatted $5 earlier. I work as a cook in a restaurant, and I know firsthand how little waiters make. Yep. And Jesse Shodel has super chatted $5. Can I just say for the record that I find Righteously Furious Raz absolutely charming?
I said thank you to them.
And Dick's Poet says, there are tons of super awesome ways to celebrate that won't cost you your last dollar and cost a waitress money. Correct. There are. Yeah, no, Celadoth. The tipping system here is really fucked up. To make it even worse, if you would like to know an example of how it gets worse than that, when I was working at McDonald's, there was a sheet of paper that said, your wage is $7.25. Your minimum wage is $7.25. I was working in Florida at the time. And then there was a part under it that said the tipped wage is $2.13. And then there was a part under that that said, if you receive a tip for your service, you must report it to your manager so that you can have your wages adjusted. If a customer paid me a tip, the company policy was that I was to have my pay docked. Think about that. Think about that for just a second. If I received a tip at my job for the work that I did, my pay had to be docked. Now, when I worked at Publix, we had the same kind of deal. All the same rules. It's a pretty standard thing here. And there were some customers who knew that. I helped a lady go out to her car. She ordered a bunch of sandwiches and asked one of the people in the deli to tote them to the register for her and to get them to her car for her. When she tipped me, because she did, she tipped me $5, she specifically said, this isn't a tip, this is a gift. I want this to go to you so you can eat lunch. And she had to say that, because if she didn't and it was considered a tip, I would have had to go to my manager. Had I been caught on camera receiving money from a customer, I would have had to go to my manager and explain I received a tip so that they could take my wages for that hour and dock them whatever amount of money I was tipped until it hit the minimum wage, the tipping wage. Yes, a customer has to hide charity here. Because otherwise it is counted as tip, and tip legally means you can be docked. Like, it is... America blows dick! Well, what the viewers are saying is right. If you are too poor to go out to a restaurant and provide an adequate tip, then you should not go to that restaurant and exploit your waitress. That is what they are saying. And I agree with them. 100%. Because I would not either. If I was on my last dollar, my last $10, and I had the opportunity to go out to eat, but I could not afford the tip, I would not go out to eat. That's what I would do. You don't have to go out to eat. And if you can't afford, like, it's one thing if you don't know any better. If you don't know that, tipped wage is shit, and so you give, a little tip. This happens all the time whenever somebody comes into the U.S. for the first time.
You know what? I just fucking remembered the best fucking example. So I grew up dirt fucking poor. You know this. Mm. You know that I grew up with a mother that couldn't hold a job because she was disabled and fucking mentally ill, could not fucking do shit, had to live off of fucking nothing. I remember the first time she took me out to a fucking restaurant, like a nice restaurant. It was a fucking Applebee's. It was the first time I had ever been to a sit-down fucking restaurant. She looked at the waitress and handed her $5 at the start of the meal and said, I can't afford anything more than this. I have just enough for my food, and I know that this is not adequate enough, but I will be back in here when I have money, and if you are working, I will give you money. My mom and her exchanged phone numbers, and a week later, my mom, after getting Christmas money, went back and gave her the rest of her tip. Because it's so fucking important.
Because your tip is your wages here.
Yes. And my mom would spend every last fucking dime. If we went to a restaurant, she would give, and then if she didn't have enough, she would tell them, exchange phone numbers. Give me your phone number, I'll give you my phone number, I'll come back. Because I know this is not enough for you. Because my mom was a waitress, and I turned out to be a waitress, and that is something that she did all the time. When we could afford to, she did it.
And now somehow we've moved the situation. So it doesn't matter. It would be a genetic fallacy of some variety to argue that because the tipping system began, if you are correct, I will go ahead and grant your premise that it is correct, that tipping began as a form of racism. If that is true, that industry is so thoroughly divorced from it now that it ceases to be an issue. It ceases to be a talking point. It's not like something like the police force, where statistically, it has not been divorced enough from that previous racism. But even then, I'm not defending the tipping system. I'm saying that if you are operating within the tipping system, to tip appropriately.
If you live as an American right now, you should tip, and you should tip 15 to 20%. And if you do not, then you should not be going out to eat. You should be getting takeout. You should be ordering from that place and then taking it home.
You've never heard of individual foods that you don't have to tip on? McDonald's. Zach's...
Earlier they were saying that they've only been to places where at the end of the night they pooled tips and then split it amongst everyone, which I've never fucking heard of.
I've
heard of one place that does it, and they got shut down.
Hooters does that, but it's not that they pool their tips together. What Hooters does is that your front of house gets a tipped wage like everyone else, but they do not receive tips. So whatever the waiters make, the waitresses, I believe it's like 10% or 5% of their tips total get cut off the top and go to the front of house.
Oh, the hostess and everything else?
Yeah, because they get a tip.
Applebee's did something similar, but you could opt out of that, and you could opt for them to take your wages instead. So they would take $1 to $2 out of what you were being paid, and you would just claim more of your tips, and your taxes would come out of your tips, but the hostess would get your wage. Or, several times as a waiter, I gave the person that was hosting that night money. I would just be like, here you go, here's what I made, here's 10% of what I made.
Yup. So, the unfortunately, the situation in America's fucked. It always has been. We have not thoroughly fixed this fucking place yet. You don't even know what a drive-through is? Okay, I'm starting to believe you're a troll, Iron Fang. If you've never heard of if you are living in 2020 and you've never heard of a drive-through, that seems that seems very Poe. Like, I'm sorry, at that point I feel like I just need to dismiss you. I think that's the healthy thing to do. I just have to dismiss you. If you've never heard of food that you don't have to tip for, of which there are a large variety in multiple places, including the States, and you've never heard of a drive-through window, that would mean you've also never heard of fast food. Yeah, that's just... No. No, I don't buy that. I do not buy that.
Moving straight on.
Yeah, moving on to something else entirely. Where are my things?
Good evening from New York.
Oh, no. Shut the fuck up. There we go. So, anyway. Anywho, I wish I was recording some of that, but I wasn't. Oh well, fuck it. Into the aether it goes. Into the aether it goes. You're being timed out, Iron Fang.
Already did it.
It's been... When you started getting into the... I don't know what a drive-through is...
Oh, I didn't care
I'm
about
sorry.
that. The reason I timed them out is because they're trying to antagonize. They've done it twice now. The first time was they're trying to fix it like they want to fix the thing with people of color. They just did that exact same thing, but
with homosexuals.
Fix homosexuals. Like, okay, cool, whatever.
Yeah, it's yeet. Yeah, yeah, it's okay. It's okay. He was over there and just yeet.
I told you she fucking goes for it.
I would say should we let Growlithe in, but then I remembered that there's paint. And she hasn't scratched on the door yet. Once she scratches on the door, we have to let her in. But
I mean, I need you real quick before you do your next bit.
sure.
I'm gonna take this and just... I need this flipped.
Okay. You just flipped.
Yeah,
Sure, honey. Love to.
just, yeah, there you go. Just complete all the way around. Try not to put the sides on the floor.
I can't help it, hon.
There you go. Okay, and then pick it up. Pick it up.
No, pick it up.
On this thing. Oh well, it's scuffed, but it's fine.
Well, now I look like I've killed a chocolate bar.
Or you just put your finger up your butt.
I just shoved my finger right up my ass.
Clip it! Clip it!
Oh my god. Okay, let me clean that up. Okay, now
Lisa says Raz is my favorite part of Cirrus stream. Sorry, Cirrus.
You know what? Raz is my favorite part of this house too. But like with many of my favorite things, it fucking pisses me off sometimes.
Cirrus killed the Muffin Man. The Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man! Ugh.
Lipton's really late.
Okay. This is still fine. I'm gonna hang that there for a second. That'll be fine. That Nexus is not gonna fall ever again. I'm lying.
There is no war in Bossing Say.
There is no war on Bossing Say. There is no war on Bossing Say.
In Bossing Say.
Well, there was a war on Bossing Say the whole fucking time. Don't you love how a bunch of firebenders...
Spoilers!
Wow, yeah. Spoilers for a decade-long old show at this point. Hi, guys. Don't you just love how fucking... During that whole ordeal, not a single firebender thought, hey, what if I used my firebending to, like, propel me over the wall?
That's because the dude that thought of that idea got fucking hit by Ozai. Ozai was like, fuck you! Masculinity!
Like, just think about it. Not a single firebender thought to propel themselves over the wall.
To be fair, not even Ozai could fly until fucking Sozin's comet.
I refuse to believe. Jesus, spoilers, you bastard. I'm still watching it. Bleck, you had plenty of fucking time at this point. I'm sorry.
It's been 30 years, Black. 30.
Also, Legend of Korra is good. People's exceptions are just too high. I can agree that Legend of Korra is good in its 3rd and 4th season. I think Season 2 should not have existed, and I think Season 1 should have been Season 1 and 2. That's...
We have to kick Dix from the party.
Yep.
Bye, Dix. You haven't seen it. Goodbye.
I'm sorry, Dix. Raz can tell you what my... I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I was about to be like, okay, put sticks in timeout.
Dix is in the timeout corner. Oh fuck. Just wait.
Which one is Season 2 again? Season 2 is...
Exactly.
Season 2 is... Wait. He's the villain of the season? Okay. That was my reaction during season 2. I was like, he's the villain? Sure, I guess. Only true fans enjoy the Shyamalan movie. All right, damn. Puts user in timeout. God damn it, Jack! They would have been shot down. Bozing says protection is too good. They have a great firewall. It's a pun that wouldn't actually work in the Avatar universe of that era. Wait. Does that mean that the Fire Nation was just a bunch of viruses in this allegory? Oh. That's a bit bad. Okay. It's a long, long way to Ba Sing Se. No, I'm gonna have to ban you from Ocean's Discord now. Yeah. Remember, bloodbending guy, evil Northern Water Tribe guy who turned into an evil avatar, evil Earth Kingdom dictator girl. Yeah, season 2 is evil Northern Water Tribe guy who turns into an evil avatar. It's exactly what it is.
Tara, do not get that brown paint on you. I swear.
Yeah, no, like season 2 is just. Season 2 is the Legend of Korra writers going.
Blair
What?
says, I like how you just crack all your knuckles into the mic like a savage.
Fucking, what's the, was it The Great Divide? I think it was the worst Avatar episode in the whole series. It's one of the only episodes in that series that's actually considered, like, legitimately bad by the fans. I want to say it was The Great Divide. But season 2 of Legend of Korra is basically, what if we could write an entire season that was like The Great Divide, but just didn't stop? I'm fairly certain the episode's name was Great Divide. But it was basically just a fucking two nomadic tribes had a feud with each other for stupid fucking
that
reasons.
One.
Yeah.
Fuck that one.
Yeah, they had a feud with each other for stupid fucking reasons. And that was the whole plot. These two families don't like each other.
Lovers, forbidden from one another.
Secret tunnel.
Get off the counter!
You have a cat paw print in it now.
Our board.
Secret tunnel. Secret tunnel.
And what would happen if we kissed under the rocks?
Yeah, how did you forget about Zahir? Because there was no fucking reason for Zahir to be the villain of that. Boredness says, I might have time to watch Avatar if you didn't stream at Dark 30 or College or Xenoblade. I swear I can ration my time.
Tara, I hate you. I hate her so much. She pissed me off.
Not saying it's bad, just saying it's a basic one. No, it's a... Look. The Great Divide was a mistake. Okay. Zahir was an awful anarchist. Agree or disagree?
Was Zahir an anarchist?
Yeah, was he an anarchist? Is that...
I believe he was.
I'm fairly certain that he, strictly held positions of power. He wanted chaos, not anarchy. He wanted a 2-year-old's bastardized interpretation of anarchy. He wanted chaos. Renita says, it's 1 a.m. Go to bed, friend. I'm concerned for your health. Okay.
Fuck you, Renita.
No. How about... No. I appreciate your concern, but...
Your concern is
No.
misguided. We are adults and not 3 children in 2 trench coats.
Do they mean antagonist? No, they meant anarchist. He wanted to get rid of all... Yeah, that would make him a shitty anarchist. an anarchist that says that they just want to remove all government does not understand what anarchy is at its core. Like,
Anarchy is watching a pig blow up L'Manberg.
like, his philosophy was literally return to monkey. God damn it. But yeah, no, the anarchy at its core is the abolishment of all unjust hierarchies. Government, as it should operate as an aid tool for the populace, can be considered a justified hierarchy insofar as the populace should be part of the hierarchy over the government. Like, it is a gross misinterpretation of anarchist philosophy to actually go, anarchism means no government.
Holy shit, sir, I'm an anarchist and I just found out that governments exist in real life.
Like, this is speaking strictly from, like, theorists like Kropotkin. Like, I'm not speaking out of my ass off of some Wikipedia article. I've read the fucking theory. I've read Kropotkin. I've read anarchist theory.
Don't lie, you can't read. Don't you love it when I'm a party streams?
Renita, I am also an adult going to bed right now, so I can be nice to 8 a.m. Renita.
Well,
good night.
You're a functioning adult. We never said we were functioning.
Yeah, Renita, the difference between me and you here is that I do not have a functional schedule. So, yes.
You're not functional. You are non-functional.
You have to be nice to functional Renita. I don't have to be nice to functional Cirrus, because functional Cirrus doesn't exist. Also, Growlithe will probably not show up because, and I'll let you know, right now. So,
am I being shown?
Yep. So, Raz is painting cabinets over there. And that is the direct path Growlithe would have to take to get to me. And I'm not about to have Growlithe fuck up the cabinets. So, no. You know, Reed, you'll play kitty video games and say God bad. That is perfect. I have to screenshot that. You know, I have to screenshot.
Paint Bertha. I don't want to paint Bertha. Sirs, don't make me paint Bertha.
I'm gonna have to clip something real quick. Shut up, fucker Carlson. Okay, hold on. You okay?
I'm trying to look at the door to see if it's done.
Spoiler alert. The door that was done was the friends we made along the way.
Shut up. Dude, I want to paint these cabinets. I want to be done with these cabinets, but these cabinets, I'm not done yet, and I just want them to be done. I have spent an hour on this cabinet. Wait, have you been streaming for an hour? 47 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, at this point, I'll actually be right about my time estimation and be done with both of them by the end of 2 hours.
Yeah, probably. Something like that.
I'm super good at time.
We must return to Monkey. The natural order is disorder. Give me banana! When your political philosophy is just LARP Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong is an anarchist.
He literally...
He wanted to take down the king that stole his bananas.
He literally lives in a... banana republic.
Dix I would, but Woodrow will not allow me to.
Woodrow?
That's their name on YouTube, is Woodrow. W-O-O-D-R-O-E. It's not even the good spelling with R-O-W, it's R-O-E. Can we make fun of Woody for like a couple of minutes just on his name? Just laugh at him. Ha ha! Your name is Woody. That means penis.
Reject humanity, Raz. Return to monkey.
I was never monkey.
Return to monkey!
I was panda. I will munch on bamboo and be in my office. Thank you.
If panda's so good, why can panda no swing on vine? Reject panda. Return to monkey.
No. Panda roll around. Am silly little fucker with my arms in the air. Silly little fucker with my arms in the air.
Jesus. Pun was bad and you should feel bad. You know what? I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad about it at all. And you know what? If you think I should feel bad, then maybe you should get a camera full of my balls.
Keelan says I came to be informed. I stayed for chaos. That happens whenever I'm around.
I'm sorry, guys. I must be getting older.
Nate says thought on Bosch.
My ball
yes,
just dropped.
Cirrus is a thought for Bosch.
God
Next.
damn it. Thoughts on Vosh. He's a good friend.
That means he's gay! Cirrus eggs confirmed.
Oh, don't tell Stephen Molyneux that. He might start saying weird shit about me on Twitter. Don't listen, Cirrus. You have some
The
nice
balls are not smooth, they're rubbery, and they taste bad.
How do you know they taste bad?
I may have put one in my mouth.
Why would you do that?
Because I wanted to see how chewy it was. It is very chewy.
Yeah? But there's no taste.
The one I had tasted bad.
This one's fresh out of the package. I don't taste shit. Like, if it helps, I actually have... Hold on. Do I have it? Let me find it. One sec.
No, your balls are with me.
Where's my DMs? Is it in here? No, it's not in here, I don't think. Did he send it to me on Twitter? Fuck it, I'll have to find it. But I've got 2 pictures that Vosh made that are technically Cirrus fan art. There's, during the stream I did with Vosh, he found out about, like, the weird correlations between my channel and its fan art, so he just started drawing Cirrus fan art. He made, like, buff, angular, JoJo-styled Cirrus. It was weird.
You mean Juris? I love Juris. Or do you mean Joris?
Jorish? Joris? I'm so confused. How long ago was that stream? Oh, God. Hold on. Here, we can find out.
Cirrus, I only want to get the one cabinet done today. I will get Bertha done, but I only want to get the one cabinet.
Okay. One cabinet and Bertha. The other cabinet tomorrow, though.
And wall tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll do cabinet while wall dry.
Okay.
Like prime wall dry. And then do things.
Said also you got me into
Right, in an
Apologia.
ide-
Awesome. Let me see
Oh,
here.
you mean his other account?
God damn it. This is an old fucking video. Holy shit. This is Vosh and his old setup, and this is me when I didn't have a fucking setup. Jesus.
The Blue Wrench people are the people that are the moderators. I am
Ki-
a moderator.
Kirator on YouTube for the $5. I'm gonna go to bed so I can make it to work. Was so nice to catch a stream though. Awesome. Well, thank you very much for the $5 super chat, and I hope you get some good sleep.
I must pee.
Where is it?
Gamer, you are a moderator. Shut up.
That they're trying to maximize human happiness. That diversity plus proximity equals violence. That everyone
Where
will be happier
is it
if
in
the races
here?
separate as they are supposed to be. I can pull these people in. I can pull them in because
My face looks much longer in that stream. I may have not like set myself up correctly.
My policies would actually lead to blah 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 blah. However, people
God,
who
I
just
don't like how
flatly
I
believe
used to
in,
make
like,
these
divine
streams.
command theory, people who flatly do not believe in egalitarianism or equality as like a core concept. I can't bring these people over philosophically because our properly based beliefs
So-
are different.
So one thing that's funny, an
Hold on.
no.
Where?
Is that people who are socialized as
I could have sworn that it was in this stream.
Like the fucking the same. It's the same shit every time. Like the white.
I know there was the
girl,
fan art
you know,
of me and Vosh
brings
that was
it-
submitted.
She's been fucking hemorrhaging subs lately. It's pathetic.
Yeah, it's,
So wait, fill me in. You have 2 girlfriends.
that was
And then
the
you
talk
can
on
go back to your
polyamory. Was it put in?
go, but I just didn't want to go.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Aha! There it is. It's right here. I don't remember where he sent this in, but that was actually made by Vosh on this stream. Just this really weird buff angular Cirrus. But if you've seen like Vosh's artwork before, that's pretty normal for his style. Like it's just... You see if I can't make it easier to see on stream. Take that, save it. Where the fuck is that going to save it? Stream? Sure, why not? Why not? Stream, screenshot. Where the fuck are you? Here we go. Very, very awkward just to like blow it up and enhance. But yeah, it is basically like a JoJo Cirrus. You know, thoughts on Vosh? We talk. We play Among Us together every now and again, and we've done a stream together. I'd like to do another one at some point, but this was a product of the last one. What would my stand be? It would probably be on my feet. I'm kidding. I know what a stand is. Zoom. Don't enhance. You know, this was a long time ago. Holy shit. The beads in that style. I know, right?
Same.
Okay. That's enough of old classic Cirrus videos. Hey, I could look at the chat from this video still.
Doris, how much do I want pizza in the air fryer?
4 minutes. Your stream layout back then looked so cluttered. It really was. My stream layout back here was cluttered as shit.
It still is, I mean, what?
Well, how would I unclutter it?
That's a good question.
Thoughts on the chat? I mean, it's a chat. I don't know.
Doris, do you have a phone charger?
Yes, I do.
Oh, thank bless.
Do you need it?
Yes!
Okay.
I am on 8%.
Okay, then
Here.
here be on.
Please.
I don't know why I have to charge your fucking
Because
phone.
I'm hitting pizza because I'm hungry.
You are hungry?
I am hungry.
Well, that is fine. 4 minutes until the end times. Oh, dear. Oh, dearie me. Thoughts on Raz? The thoughts and opinions in this video are not...
Hold on, I can make this bit funnier. I can make it funnier. Hold on. No. Look back at the camera. Sit normal. Sit normal.
Thoughts on Raz?
Speak the truth. Speak it. Yeah. Quick draw.
That hurt a little bit,
It
actually.
did? I'm sorry.
Here. Hold on, no, let me... Same gun.
Whop. Oh no. Oh no, I have kept it. Oh no. You hit my cabinet!
I'll defend myself!
You can't defend yourself when you are asleep. I am going to castrate you like Fidel Castro!
Quick question, how does the chat feel about trans rights? Can I get a trans rights in chat? From literally every fucking buddy? trans fucking rights. Yes, we want the trans fucking rights. And then maybe the rights will understand that the trans are people, and then they will go to the left. Sorry, was that a bad... That's a really bad joke. Somebody's going to look at me and just go, okay, you're not a human anymore, Cyrus. Hmm. Do 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 do. One sec. Okay. Google doesn't have the pride flag emoji. Yeah. It's unfortunate. Let's be honest, a lot of the people on the right are in the closet so badly they set up a safe space where they try not to think that one person makes them feel funny down below. If there are people who remember Homestuck here, look at Andrew Hussey's Instagram. I don't want to, but I think all of you that actually think Dave is cool only think he's cool ironically. If that explains any Homestuck thoughts at all. Okay. Anyway, so the next segment we're going to be looking at is from MSNBC. So do take it at least with a grain of salt, but I do think that some of this stuff does need to be talked about. So let's go ahead and take a look. The topic at hand here is apparently the Trump administration wanting everybody infected. Because, you know.
Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes. We want them infected.
That's a lead up.
Those are the words of a top Trump appointee directing the federal government to pursue an intentional strategy from the top down to get as many Americans as sick as possible in an attempt at so-called herd immunity. It's a strategy we have seen unfold before our eyes.
Now, isn't that interesting? Now, granted, again, do take this with a grain of salt. I have not sat down and researched the efficacy of the claims being made here, so just bear that in mind when we go and talk about this. But how many times have you personally, whether it was some conservative relative on Facebook or, you know, wherever you happen to be having these conversations, where you've heard somebody go, well, why doesn't everybody just get sick and then we'll develop herd immunity? Or if everybody should just get sick and get it over with. Ignoring the fact that, one, COVID has permanent damage, and two, there are people who have got it more than once. But, you know, everybody just getting sick that does not just suddenly make herd immunity good. That will just literally kill off your people who are immunocompromised. That's not how any of this works. But let's continue.
We've talked about it here on the show. It's been apparent to all of us reporting on this and watching. But we now have the smoking gun evidence, emails obtained by Politico, in which the very people at the center of this say what exactly they were doing. That they wanted people to get the virus. And this is the result.
The result is literally hundreds of thousands of people dead in the United States. I know I'm smiling, and I shouldn't be, given the nature of this, but it is very telling how much a lot of people on the right don't tend to understand science very well when this is what you get. Now, granted, I am engaging in a hasty generalization. I'm saying a bunch of people on the right because I've seen a bunch of people on the right give this stupid argument. But it is still a hasty generalization. Don't use this as like a metric to say that, oh, everybody on the right's like this. They're not. There are people who legitimately understand science there, but there are enough of them who don't. We're talking about your call for an uprisings of the world or your fucking Ben Shapiro's of the world, who think they do, and then tend to say dumb stuff about trans rights. But let's continue on with the video itself. We're not going to just sit here and talk about how much people do or don't understand science. I know I don't understand it all that well, and I've done videos on it.
That's the National Cathedral in Washington, D.C. last night. Its bell tolling 300 times, one ring of the bell for every 1,000 Americans, as we pass the 300,000 death toll.
That's a really fucking morbid way to go about that. Just ringing the cathedral bells for every 1,000 deaths. Now, it would be much more effective if you sat Trump just in front of that and just went, you have to listen to every one of these. But, yeah, no, that's fucked up.
According to the COVID tracking project, we lost another 3,400 Americans that have died since roughly when those bells rang just last night, and that is a new daily record. We've never seen it before. No country has. 3,400 Americans lost to the virus in just the last 24 hours.
Yep.
And it did not have to be this bad.
Well, no, it didn't. If from the beginning, and you can say anything in hindsight, bear in mind, you could be like, oh, it was so obvious what to do the whole time. But we got to see in real time the things that actually cause a country to weather this virus and survive long enough to get to a vaccine safely. Social distancing, making sure that people are wearing masks, making sure that people are quarantining and staying indoors, and then the government providing enough assistance so that people can legitimately do so without issue. If I were not working at YouTube, with YouTube, quarantining would have meant that we would have lost our house. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Is it the right thing to do to quarantine? Yes. The asterisk on that is that the government has to be able to allow you the ability to function. If you don't work a stay-at-home job, then there needs to be some form of assistance in there to make sure that you actually can survive doing that. But instead, if what is being said in those emails is true, the strategy all along was not to provide care for American citizens to let them get through this, but was to actively kill enough American citizens that so that we would suddenly be strong enough to handle the virus on our own. But getting as many people infected as possible doesn't work with things like the flu, it doesn't work with things like the cold, and it doesn't work with things like polio. It's not going to fucking work with this. Getting everybody infected, to fight chickenpox, you don't just make everybody have chickenpox now. I don't know who thought that was a good idea, but if they were on any team responsible for any amount of shit to do during this whole COVID situation, they needed to be fired, and at this point, I'd probably say they need to be sent in fucking jail, but that's just me.
We have the world's worst aggregate death toll by far, and not because of our size. There are bigger countries like China and India, of course. No, the U.S. accounts for around 4% of the world's population, but we have nearly 19% of the world's COVID deaths.
Imagine that. Just imagine that.
The thing to understand about that is it is not an accident, and it is not bungling. Donald Trump, as his administration, as backed by Republicans in his party, in Congress, explicitly pursued a strategy that would lead to more Americans getting sick and more Americans dying.
And again, there's going to be somebody, I'm sure, who's going to hop in the chat and explain, like I did earlier, that these are things being said in hindsight. But I want to tell you, again, yes, these are things being said in hindsight. These are things being said after looking back at the administration, seeing what it's done. But that has to be weighed against the fact that we understand viruses. We understand how they proliferate. We understand how they function. We understand a lot of basic principles where this is concerned. Because we understand those basic principles of how viruses work, of how they spread, We knew the measurements for COVID. We knew the measurements of the virus. We knew the measurements for the droplets that it was able to spread with. We knew enough to respond appropriately. And the Trump administration decided not to. Now, like I said in a previous segment, it is good, at least, that he recognizes that people are probably going to lock down again. And because of that, we need a stimulus bill that will actually help people get through that, not a measly $600. But a lot of that is too little too late. Even if he does effectively fight for a $2,000 stimulus bill, it's not going to uninfect my friends. It's not going to unkill family members who are dead now because of this. It's not going to undo things. It's a bit late for that. Really late for that. I like the Cirrus. This is actually a 1000D chess move to destroy the deep state. If everyone dies from COVID, then the deep state is defeated. The fact of the matter is, I have had conversations with people where I've pointed out inept things Trump has done, and they have explained that, no, that was a 4D chess move. He was playing 4D chess the whole time. He was a genius. No. You're just gullible. You're just really gullible. And because I'm not on Twitch, I can also call you a Trump simp. But maybe we'll do a video, maybe we'll do a segment talking about the issues going on over at Twitch right now. But is there anything else of note in here besides them showing the emails briefly and that?
And they did this despite the fact they kept denying they were pursuing the so-called herd immunity approach. It was always clear they were. Trump put Scott Atlas, a right-wing radiologist from a conservative think tank, in charge of the COVID response. And he did that.
Why would you put a radiologist in charge of your COVID response team? Why not a virologist? Why not an epidemiologist? Why not somebody whose actual education, like, fucking professional career is based around viruses, based around the spread of these things? Why a radiologist? Why? That's like when somebody goes, I need a scientist to handle this. I need a scientist to handle this dating of this fossil. And so you go get somebody who doesn't know shit about radiometric dating because it's not their field, but they are an astronomer. They are a scientist. They can't tell you shit about what you're trying to do, though. That's... People work in specialized fields. Get the people specialized in those fields to respond to this shit.
Because he saw Atlas on TV when Atlas went on Trump's favorite TV shows and said things like the following, quote, "When you isolate everyone, including all the healthy people, you're prolonging the problem because you're preventing population immunity." See that word there?
So we're still a skeptic channel. We are going to point out, or at least I'm going to point out to you guys, yes, that is a thing that has been said, but I do not know the context of that quote. And I've dealt with enough quote mining from Creation Ministries International, Kent Hovind, etc., going along the lines. If somebody knows the full context of that quote, please let me know. But I will not jump on and just agree. Insofar as my issues are bringing a radiologist on for that instead of, an epidemiologist. But I don't know the context of that quote. I don't. So I'm going to go ahead and just let that part be there. Never let your skepticism, just go away because you agree with something innately. But he could be right. Just please keep your goggles on.
Immunity. Trump would later talk about the herd. Now, it was always apparent how reckless and dangerous the herd immunity strategy was, because the one place that openly tried it, in good faith, I think they thought it was the best way to do it, was Sweden. And it became clear pretty quickly it was a catastrophe. Sweden had a far, far higher death toll than its neighbors. The elderly, folks in long-term care facilities, particularly hard hit. And the Swedish government was then forced to abandon its failing strategy quite publicly and impose new restrictions.
Yep. But it looks like we're not going to get much more from this besides just pointing out the Trump administration failed. We know the Trump administration failed. We know that. If there's nothing more we're going to be able to glean from this besides the basic information, then there's no more that I need to show on here. If you guys want to watch the rest of the clip, then it's called We Want Them Infected by Chris Hayes, and it's on MSNBC's channel. If you need to see the rest of the context, go ahead. You can do so. That's where you'd find it. But I want to point out that it is, at the very least, for all the issues I have with Democrats, generally speaking, more of our Democratic officials seem to want to listen to scientists who actually, work in the appropriate fields during this. Again, this is a hasty generalization. Please take it with a grain of salt. But on the whole, at least the Democrats listen to science more. And I at least have to throw the bone there. That's about the most I can. T-Gene Vlogs points out, because of how they mutate, changing their coat proteins, 20% of common colds are corona-based. Molecular biologist here. Well, yeah. If you guys remember, there was a lot of, especially I saw some of this every now and again, like when I was looking over Raz's shoulder when she was watching TikTok. And I saw a lot of this just like on Facebook feeds, where people would find aerosol sprays and go, look, it says it stops coronavirus. And well, yeah, it stops versions of corona. But the thing is that this is specifically, it is a novel virus. It is a different mutation of that virus. So yeah, these things can help with that, but it's not... There were people going on the conspiracy train of going, oh my god, look, this stops corona. They knew all along. No, that's not what that means. That means that we have a cluster of viruses that function within that grouping. And this happens to be one of those, because it, like many other things, is a mutation. It is upsetting to me looking at a lot of this stuff, though, and again, I've said it before, I'll say it again, a lot of stuff is looking at it in hindsight. Sometimes there is stuff that people just did not know, but it is upsetting looking at this stuff and going, well, we did at least know basic shit. In some cultures, it is not uncommon to wear a mask if you think you might be sick, or when you go out in public, when you think that there might be a risk of infection. It wasn't uncommon here during the Spanish flu. But yet there are people who brought up every reason in the fucking book to argue against that. The masks cut down your oxygen intake. You inhale too much carbon dioxide. It'll kill you. As if surgeons didn't wear masks. It's like throwing darts through a fence. Through a chain link fence. Yeah, if you ignore the fact that the darts would have to be cleaned onto a dartboard for the analogy to work. Every reason under the sun, down to the my body, my choice shit. Ignoring the fact that willingly infecting other people infringes on their bodies and their choices. Every reason under the sun not to socially distance. Not to do this. It's so childlike. Like Greg Locke had been doing this. We're going to do it to stick it to the Democrats. We're going to have all of our church together. They're going to be crammed into the pews because screw the left. How is it that people's spite is so strong that they're willing to kill people for it? It's the same shit that happens with healthcare. When somebody says they don't want their tax dollars going to helping an obese person or a smoker. Their spite for that individual is such that they're willing to let a 10-year-old child who needs healthcare, who can't afford it because she's a 10-year-old fucking child, their spite for the smoker is so high that they're willing to let the 10-year-old die. It's the same petty, childish nonsense. And I don't understand why adults, who I was told when I was a child didn't act like that, somehow never stepped out of the 3rd grade. I don't get it. Dialing back, this herd immunity strategy was a fucking stupid idea. Everyone that tried it, everybody that thought it was a good idea, was wrong. And it's not, in many cases it's looking in hindsight, but in other cases it's not. The herd immunity thing, while also taking adequate precautions, would have at least been better than just ignoring the fact that people are dying from a deadly virus. And I can't wait for that one person who's going to send a message in the comment section. Didn't you know? Rona's a hoax! Oh my god, dude. Go eat a stale bagel and try not to choke on the mold. Please. Ugh. Yeah, I can do that real quick. Trade off with me for a sec. For just long enough for me to get the dog in. Oh, you don't want to get up. You don't want to get up, do you?
I mean, I can entertain stream for like the 5 minutes it takes you to grab the dog.
Take me less than 5 minutes.
Will you grab me a drink?
Okay, now it will take me about that long.
This was all a ploy to sit in his chair. Hi guys, it's Raz. I'm stupid, but I'm cute. So like, my hair looks really other side. Looks really pink. Raz, hey, hi, Raz. Neko was asleep. Say hello to Neko when they wake up. Are we gonna get the Raz show? Hi, Raz. His dog was out. Did it wear a mask? Hi, Raz, bonus, Raz. Hi, Raz, hey, Queen, Raz. Hi, Raz, hey, Raz. Oh, shit, it Raz. Our Chaos Lord is here. Hi, stupid, cute Raz. Raz makes a power play. All hail Raz. Shoot Cyrus when he gets back. No. Best evolution, Sylveon. Raz Show, it's the Raz Show. Hi, Raz. Don't you have an art streaming channel? I have a Twitch, and I have a YouTube channel that I play games on, and sometimes stream art. But if you want to see it, then you can check out Creepy Eevees. I like bananas because they have no bones. True. Shut up, dicks. I can call myself cute. But if somebody else says it, I am required by law of cute to be angry. Anger. Hey, you didn't blow a vein in your forehead earlier. True. It's just shiny and, like, thick, I guess. What's for dinner? I had 2 pieces of cheese pizza reheated in an air fryer covered in syrup and crushed red pepper. It was a great combo. We play fast tomorrow. It depends on how much painting I get done tonight. We might not. Creepy Eevee is thick. True. I am thick. A raspberry for Raz. I love raspberries. Not gonna lie, you are almost as cute as my partner. Again, I am forced to be angry. Okay. Raz Angie. Law of cute. If someone besides yourself calls you cute, anger. You have my constant, Raz? I'm not sure what I'm talking. I don't know what you're talking about either. Everybody in the chat, take a shot of water, of soda, of tequila, vodka, if you're old enough. Take a shot. Just something. Sundere? No, just cute anger. Syrup on pizza. Yes. Syrup on pizza. It is good. Fuck Trump. True. All those house flipper hours better come in handy. I'm really good at painting. Growlith! Get away from my paint. Sadness water, you mean vodka? I have some Svedka that's blue raspberry, and it's so good. It's so strong. It's so good. Consume. Yeah. Remember to lubricate your bones with dihydrogen monoxide every day. Yes. Yes, maple syrup. Maple syrup. It's the syrup that you put on pancakes. You just put a little bit, and then you put a little bit of crushed red pepper, and it's super good. I like it. Salvation Army. I personally don't like the Salvation Army because I know the slimy shit that they used to do. Any alternatives? I personally... I don't know. Hydrate or dihydrate. True. Dude, I'm bad at remembering to drink too. It's just fucking horrible for me. Like, I can't. I have to have other people remind me, or I like go hours without it, and I'm like, eh. Yeah.
Hi everyone, it's Sirius the septic tank.
Do not touch my cabinet. I will kill you.
It's not on the paint.
You almost bumped into it, you motherfucker. You should go back and watch the reaction to me just simply appearing in your chair. It received many, screaming. Rowlett, if you don't step away from my cabinet...
How this
you're
is...
gonna be a chicken on a stick.
This is my retired Judge Dredd cosplay.
Get off of it! No! Why are you like this? Go to your father. Go to your father. Go to your dad.
Hi, Growlith. Hey, girl, you want to come up here? Just don't get my food. Hey there, baby.
I have to move this closer to the
Hi, dear.
Where did I
Oh,
put my
God.
phone? Is my phone up there? No, it's here.
Hey, baby girl. I'll set these here. I want to eat this pizza, please. Let me eat this pizza, please. Hi, baby girl. Do you love me or do you love pizza?
Yes.
She's staring at the pizza.
Yes.
Also, thank you very much, Hideki Hakubi, for the $5 super chat. Hey, Sirius, there's a little help for the house. Every little bit helps, though we are slowly closing in on being done. Well, we've passed the halfway point. There is a floor made.
Growlith, if you don't get away from it, I swear to God. You and I are gonna fight, kid.
Is it? You want this, don't you? Come here. Come here. Are you going to be a good girl?
She is always a good girl, yes.
Gentle? No, come back up here. Come back up here. All the way! Dummy, come here. Gentle. Gentle. There you go. Good girl. She has gone and escaped with the pizza. Done meaning livable. Yeah, we're at livable right now. Cold pizza, gentle like hamburger. Hey, hon. Are you getting, like, hungry?
Yeah.
Are you getting Waffle House hungry?
I still have Waffle House in the fridge that I haven't eaten. And we have shit to paint. I'd rather celebrate when all the painting's done.
Fair point.
If you touch my paint, I'm gonna kick your ass. Right in the booty hole.
Oh. This is now just a pizza stream for a second.
Rowlett, do you like living? Do you like breathing? Then I suggest you back the fuck up.
Have we trained Growlithe not to beg? Ha! No.
Growlithe is big. Growlithe is the term big. You look it up in a dictionary, you see her. Because she doesn't just beg, she just sits there and stares at you because she knows she's right.
Yep.
And she deserves it.
Do you think Growlithe deserves this piece of my pizza?
Rowley thinks that she deserves fucking everything. Don't you, you little shithead?
Growlithe girl, come here. Come on. Up. Oh my god, you just went where my head tilted, but you didn't get... Oh my god.
You have to tap your chest.
Growlithe, come here. Come here. Come here, girl. Oh boy. Come here. All the way. All the way. Now. Easy. Gentle. Gentle. Aw. Good girl. What's better drunk, IHOP or Waffle House? Oh, IHOPs exist.
Yeah, but I thought you didn't like IHOP.
Yeah, but if I don't have any other options. Hi, Yumi.
You do have options, though. Growlithe, I'm gonna need you to get the fuck away from this paint. Seriously, I've gotta turn this cabinet, and you are making this impossible.
She's staring at me, but I've already eaten it.
Growlithe, please. Thank you.
Hi, Yumi. Hey, girl. How you doing, baby? Mwah.
How you doing, baby?
Are you just gonna rest on me? Are you guys okay?
I tactically ate while they were outside.
Here we go. Yumi is giving Growlithe a bit of a cuddle.
Really, I thought that was just Yumi putting Growlithe in her place.
Growlithe's place is cuddling.
Not wrong. Not entirely right, but not wrong.
Hey, you baby girl, come here. Meow! This is a baby who is getting belly scratches. She is kneading dough on my hands now. It is amazing the positions that Yumi will tolerate.
LOL. Sounds like you're fucking the cat.
Oh my god. Well, at least I get puss. Wait.
Angor.
Oh, baby girl. How you doing? I know this has turned into a pet stream a little bit, but that's fine. It's fine with
Does
you,
the
right?
chat really care?
Oh dear. You're such a precious kitty, you know that?
Okay, I think I'm just about done with this cabinet.
Yay!
So.
It is almost ready for the going up soon, yes?
I mean, it could technically go up as soon as this coat dries, yeah.
I'll be putting it...
Before you get started on your next segment, I'm gonna have you move it over there and give me the other one.
Okay.
I'm gonna do the other one a little differently just to try and get it to dry as fast as possible.
That one right there?
Yeah, that one.
Okay. You're suspicious on whether or not Yumi is actually a cat. Well, what else would Yumi be? Give me just a moment, because Yumi.
Growlithe?
The cabinet will have character.
Don't make me paint your snoot. I will attack you with my paintbrush.
Yumi is so fucking cute. Yumi is an alien. Bertha is a giant, basically like an entertainment center. That we've been using. We're going to be using it as kitchen storage for the appliances.
It is literally an entertainment stand, like, thing that is as big as the wall. Like, it just about reaches our ceiling.
Yeah. It's impossible for us to move it anywhere through a door because it is as big as... It is almost as tall as the ceiling, so it can't fit through doorways. It's big. Tolerating being held like she was, maybe she's lulling us into a false sense of security. Yes, an entertainment center that has shelving. Hi. I like how she just like decides randomly to lunge and give me head boops.
She doesn't just lunge, she fucking headbutts you.
Yeah. I just be like, hey Yumi, how you doing? You gonna headbutt me soon? No, now that I've said it, you're not going to. Cute baby. I too derive entertainment from food. There she goes. Here she goes. Hi, girl. Hi, Dare. Crowley, you just came in from outside. Don't even start.
She's upset because I keep getting onto her about my fucking cat.
No, so now she's just throwing a tantrum.
She's just throwing a fit.
Okay, well. Hi, Dare. Wait, is it when I pet you like this that you do it? No, you just do it randomly. That's exactly what you're doing. It is all random. Alright. Let me move the stuff for you real quick. Oh, I'm sorry, Yumi. Here.
So, just be warned, the top is not completely dry, nor is the front. But if you wanted to lift it, you can do so
from inside.
Yeah, from inside. The thing I will ask you is to set it at an angle where this bottom one isn't touching the floor.
Okay.
So the paint doesn't pull up.
Okay, I can do that. Just...
Yeah.
Look at this bean. Yeah, Yumi overgroomed a spot on her back, but I can show you. It's actually, like, just about healed up. She overgroomed a spot on her back here, and started scratching it to the point where it bled. And it used to be all over. There was a scab everywhere, but now it's just this little spot. But everywhere here where there's no fur, the reason there's no fur there is because she overgroomed it. So, yeah. What breed is Yumi? No idea. Yumi...
Domestic long hair.
Domestic long hair?
If
Okay.
you don't know the breed, then it's domestic long hair.
Okay.
She looks to be a long-haired tabby, but just like Hylia is a short-haired tuxedo, Terror is a long-haired domestic ragdoll.
I thought she was a Norwegian forest.
Norwegian forest. She's a tie between the both of them.
Yeah, and Gigi, Gigi is a
Domestic long-haired Turkish fan.
turtle-share Turkish van, yeah. Hello. Most Turkish vans are whites, but Gigi's a mutt. Now, why would she overgroom? Basically, couple things. One, Gigi doesn't get along with the other cats, so her anxiety is usually pretty high. Two, she also had fleas. They're all being treated now, but even when you treat your animals, if fleas were already in the house, they'll still get on and bite every once in a while. And I'd imagine a combination of the anxiety with the other cats and the fleas in general, like just responding to them, has created that issue. But the house has been bombed a couple times. It has been treated once by a professional. All the cats have their medication now. So does Growlithe. And we are going to do another bombing at some point, and we're going to have the professionals come out and do another treatment of the house because we're trying to interrupt the fleas' life cycles. So, in an ideal world, this whole issue will go away soon. Yumi's too nice, needs to do the typical cat thing of randomly attacking you when petting is apparently done. But she does that. Yumi actually does attack. It's just her threshold is really high. And sometimes random. But I'll be right back. I need to move a thing. I think because there's already cloths on those, I can just leave this against those.
Yeah. You just gotta make sure that the body... Growlithe, get out!
Girl, this is a bad time, girl.
Yeah, just watch for the door.
This door. There are 2 doors.
Well, this door's gotta go, because this door's done.
This door looks done too.
Yeah, but it's not.
Oh, okay.
Growlithe, get out!
She.
Get out. Get out. Get out until we're done.
She's not gonna be able to do that. You know, Growlithe. Ugh. Oh, I see. Yumi has decided to choose you.
Yeah, for now.
Yumi chooses you.
Okay, but that's gonna give me anxiety because Growlithe is walking in and out. Will you please move the cabinet?
Over here.
Yeah.
Okay. God, I'm scanning now. Okay.
Go.
You moved it right to block.
I didn't move it. It's got a cloth under it that I've got to grab. But I couldn't grab it while you were in front of it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay.
Does this shoot these? Testing now. It should shoot these fine. Yeah, it does. Neat! Such a tiny thing. It's like a little jolt. Anyways. On to relevant shit. Add 1/8 to 1/4 brewer nutritional yeast per 2 pounds of cat per their food to help repel and heal the little critters. I've never heard of using yeast for that. That's a new one. My cats that ever peed on me, the same can't be said about my kids. I mean, look, it's not that you're wrong. Okay. So we need to move on to our next step. Oh my god. No, I didn't mean... I accidentally opened Genshin Impact instead of Discord. That is not what I meant to do. I have to wait for it to open. I just realized that there were a couple... So I know that my title has a couple of things, the Jimmy Dore thing and others. But I just realized by looking through my setup of shit... By the way, the Jimmy Dore thing was going to be me basically going, hey, we're going to play Poe or not Poe with this. Because he does do political comedy. But I do think there's a couple of other things in here that I would need to get into that are a little more pertinent than that. One of which goes in with the original setup of the channel. You okay, hon? You hungry? I did offer Waffle House.
I don't want to go sit out, especially when they're having painting. I'd like to get the painting done.
Yeah, you're right. Jimmy Dore thing is dumb. People want to toss political efficacy for virtue signaling. Gotcha. How do I open the password? I'm incredibly stupid. You just find it. The password's in the read the rules section.
Do not spam the password section. If you spam it, I will not give you the fucking roll.
Original setup, Rule 34 fan art. Look, Rule 34 fan art was not the original setup of the channel. But we do have some fan art that I do want to show from Ghost Chan. Communist Cirrus and a Mickey Mouse thing reading dad jokes. True political theory right here. This is true political theory. I'm going to work this into the Communist Mickey episode. I'm going to work this into the episode. I swear. Just because it's worth it.
I don't have milk, but I will at least eat a cookie.
Big cook. Okay. So I guess for a moment we're just going to pretend that this channel still is an atheist channel. I'm kidding, it still is. But with all of the issues that I've had with the way our government has responded, the way it's functioned, the people it's decided need more help than others, I think there is no better example of people who didn't need the fucking help, but suddenly did get it, than Joel Osteen. For those who don't know, Joel Osteen is one of the richest televangelists in the United States. When his megachurch closed down during a flood in Texas, because apparently there was water damage everywhere, and that was his excuse for not using his church to help house the homeless when, everything was getting flooded. And then suddenly, go figure, his church was actually incredibly dry, and there was no water damage, and he was actually just bullshitting because, well, to quote him, not in this particular instance, but to quote what he has said when asked why he needs billions and billions of dollars, his response is that, well, if I'm not my best self, how can I be a blessing to other people? Growlithe, maybe you should not. Maybe you should not. You do not need what Joel Osteen got. Joel Osteen got a $4.4 million Paycheck Protection Program loan for COVID relief. $4.4 million. Why and how? Think about having $1 million for a second. Just having $1 million. What would you do with that? Could you survive for decades on that? And the answer is yes. There are people who by the time they retire will still have not seen $1 million the whole way through. Growly, stop. Come on, girl. Do you want to... Come here. Come here. You are still less frustrating than Joel Osteen, so maybe you should come up here. Come up here, girl. Come on. You'll be the dose of sanity during this video, even though you're being ornery. Truly and honestly, you're being ornery is what you're doing. Hey, girl. Hey there. Like, his Lakewood church, it got direct financial assistance. It was the first time federal lawmakers provided direct financial assistance for a house of worship. Why did he need $4.4 million? I don't understand.
Stop.
Just consider for a moment, Crowley, please, you need to stop it. You need to stop, girl. But just consider for a moment what $4.4 million is. That is a loan that is meant... This is a loan that is meant to protect you because of your paycheck. It's to supplement your paycheck, the paycheck that you are ostensibly not getting because of the COVID crisis. This man received a loan of $4.4 million as a part of the CARES Act, as protection for his paycheck for 8 months, 9 months. Now, I understand it's a loan, and he's going to have to pay it back. I understand that. But $4.4 million? Really? He needed $4.4 fucking million dollars? Why? Why are we suddenly giving that much to a televangelist? They literally provide nothing for society. Not a single fucking thing. Now, apparently, these funds went to 368 full and part-time employees. So at least this money did not go directly into Joel Osteen's pocket. But again, that is an exorbitant amount. If I were to break that down just for a bit, right? Let's go ahead and break that down. 4.4 million. So we're looking at a number like this. That is 440 million. That is more than I needed. There we go. Here's our 4.4 million. Divided by about 370 employees. That is $12,000 per employee. So I can at least say that that does in fact mean, thankfully, that $12,000 is going there. But at that point, wait. At that point, your employees are only getting paid $11,000 for an entire year? 9 months, but still. Is my math wrong here? That effectively means that they're paying their people pennies. Hold on a second. With all the money that Joel Osteen makes, do his employees of the church make dirt? Average wage for... Hold on. Let's do this real quick. Average wage for Joel Osteen's church worker. I don't know what I'm going to find when I put this in. Average Lakewood church salary. It's on pay scale. What do you know? Their accountants make $40,000 to $66,000. That's livable. Your administrative coordinators make below poverty line. Your event coordinators make about poverty line. That still can't be right, then. Do they actually get paid a decent amount? A youth minister there gets paid $28,000 to $58,000. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, well, I rescind what I said. I'm going to go be a youth minister at Joel Osteen's church. It pays more than what I make on YouTube. Allison says, as I recall, if it goes to payroll, it doesn't have to be paid back. Oh, go figure. Go fucking figure. Then why would it be a loan, though? There also is something pointed out that accepting loans like this does kind of stoke a couple concerns when you consider the fact that religious leaders are not supposed to be tied to the government in much of a huge fucking way. That can create some that can create some issues where your priorities are concerned. But still, $4.4 million loan going, at least going to payroll. Still, Jesus fucking Christ. I guess that's the appropriate thing to say here too. How are you going to do that, Cyrus? You just know God bad. Cyruses these days don't know how to read. They just know God bad. But I don't know. You would think that a megachurch like Joel's would be able to afford paying its people during a COVID crisis. You'd think, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm entirely incorrect in that. Who knows? Religious government isn't supposed to be tied together with every president before Trump was some kind of Christian. At least they had to say they were. Because if they didn't... Growlith! Stop! Come on, girl. You really don't need to keep on barking. Doing the bark, bark, borf, borf. Sit. 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 Growlith. Sit.
Sit!
You know how. Good sit. Good girl. But you should have done it on the first one. Because you know the command. You're just being ornery. Gonna give her space. Her tail is a paintbrush. Her tail is a paintbrush. Oh my God.
Mom to take her back.
No. Nothing said God loves you like a Boeing 727.
That's all I wanted. I wanted a hug for your crimes against my cabinet.
Did she tip her tail? No, she swiped her tail across the drying side of the cabinet. It was honestly kind of cool. There's like sweep.
Yeah, there's a mark there now.
Yeah, there's a Growlith tail mark there. It is glorious. It is glorious. Okay. The next part's not going to be fun. So, who's ready to talk about Tucker Carlson? Anybody in the chat? Can I get an H in the chat if you're ready to talk about Tucker Carlson? To listen to the dulcet tones of his voice? I know that every H in the chat is going to be a lie. I am aware of that. Kitsune, you're a liar. Linoleum, Pumpkin J, all of you are liars. Every single one of you is a fucking liar. It's a G. It's 3 a.m. Why the fuck? I'll tell you why the fuck. Because his dumb face has things to say. So, let's go ahead and preface this just real quick. With what do you call somebody? What is the honorific for somebody who has received a doctorate? What is it? Because last I checked, it was doctor. I mean, I'm a Sonic the Hedgehog fan. I have no problem calling Dr. Eggman a doctor, even though he's probably not a medical doctor. But let's go ahead and see what Tucker has to say about that. He's got some opinions, right?
For a minute. Imagine your nightmare health emergency. You're on vacation with your family when suddenly you double over with shooting chest pains and lose consciousness. You wake up strapped in the back of an ambulance, racing to the emergency room.
Oh, I understand what it's going to be like when I'm raced to the emergency room for that, Tucker. That's the scenario that happens shortly after hearing your voice. It actually causes a vibrational frequency through my inner ears that causes spontaneous points in my body to rupture. And
Are we talking about COVID?
and it puts me in this scenario. This exact one that you're saying right now. Thank you, Tucker. You are causing this problem.
Paramedics hover over you, trying to keep you calm. You've had a massive coronary, they shout over the sirens, but we're going to take good care of you. You're about to see one of the best doctors in the country. In fact, Whoopi Goldberg just said this person should be the next Surgeon General. So you slump back onto the stretcher, deeply relieved. Maybe you're going to make it after all. Moments later, they wheel you into the hospital, and there she is, the famous doctor they just told you about. But something's wrong. She doesn't have a stethoscope. There's not a chart or an EKG machine in sight.
Because there's a difference between a medical doctor and someone who has a doctorate. One is a doctor by nature of their degree. The other is a doctor by nature of their profession. But I understand if the 2-year-olds in the audience don't get that.
Instead, she's turning on what appears to be an overhead projector. Jill, a nurse yells, "There's a patient here. What do we do?" "That's Dr. Biden to you," the woman replies icily, and then launches into a slideshow on equity and diversity in Delaware's community college system.
I like how the hypothetical scenario that he's painting here would be almost impossible to actually engineer. It's not a thing that would happen because there's a difference between the doctor, a professional name, and the doctor, a name that you gained as an honorific because of your study, because of your field of study. There's a difference there. And like I said, again, for the 2-year-olds in the audience who don't get it, there's the difference. Most people understand this pretty well. But apparently Tucker is such a child that he can't. It blows his mind that somebody could be a doctor of something but not be a medical doctor.
Very soon you begin to lose consciousness again. For the first time in your life, you have no fear of death. In fact, you welcome its sweet release. You don't just walk toward the...
That is exactly how I feel after listening to you, Tucker. I no longer fear death. I embrace its sweet release.
light. You run. So contrary to what you may have read, Dr. Jill Biden is not a healer. She's not allowed to write prescriptions. She wouldn't know what to do with your appendix.
Right, because she's a doctor by virtue of her doctorate, you dillhole. Not a doctor by virtue of her trade.
Dr. Jill has an education degree from some school in Delaware, and you're supposed to find that highly impressive. She could be a surgeon general. Now, many have laughed at the apparent absurdity of this, but we took it seriously because that's our job.
Okay. So I want to just point out that Tucker Carlson just said it's their job to take these things seriously. When you are not legally allowed to take Tucker Carlson seriously, the legal defense that Fox News came up with, that was ruled and accepted, for why Tucker can say so many falsities on air and hurt so many people without repercussion, is that no sane person would take him seriously. Should take him seriously. Legally, I do not have to take you seriously, Tucker. And you say it's your job to take these things seriously. You say that with a straight face. And I cannot stop laughing.
We actually read her dissertation this week, the very document that made her, quote, a doctor. And what did we discover when we did that? We're going to give it to you in a diagnosis. Dr. Jill needs reading glasses. Either that or she's borderline illiterate. There are typos everywhere, including in the first graph of the introduction. Dr. Jill can't write, and she can't really think clearly either.
Wait. Does the mere existence of typos in something that I said, notice he says that there were typos, but he didn't show anything on screen yet. But does the mere existence of a typo suddenly mean that I can't write? How many times have you told somebody to duck yourself instead of fuck yourself? Does that suddenly mean that you don't know how to read? No, it doesn't. But remember, Tucker Carlson, he takes these things very seriously.
Parts of the dissertation seem to be written in a foreign language using English words.
Did he really just say that the words... Did he really just say the words were too big? This man! They were written in a foreign language, but with English words. I take my job very seriously. I, Tucker Carlson. I didn't like when they made fun of me on Animaniacs. This guy came across a big word, and instead of cracking open a dictionary and trying to figure out what that word meant, or doing that thing that you learn in school, looking for context clues, so that you can figure out the meaning of a word, or at least its general meaning, he then goes, this is an alien language. It's like the first time you read the word onomatopoeia. That's not a real word, and then you realize that it was. And then when somebody, hit you and then said boom and crash, then you realized physically what the word meant.
They're essentially pure nonsense, like pig Latin or dogs barking. The whole thing is just incredibly embarrassing.
Are you going to show?
Not simply to poor illiterate Jill Biden, but to the college that considered this crap scholarship.
Are you going to show
Embarrassing, in
it?
fact, to our entire system of higher education, to the nation itself.
Tucker,
Jill Biden's doctoral dissertation
are you going
is
to
our
show
national
it?
shame. Are we overstating this? Well, you decide. On the very first
you're
page
gonna
of
show it
Dr.
now.
Biden's opus,
Yay.
she describes an average class of students at a community college called Delaware Tech. Of course, she counts the students by their skin color. She's a Biden, after all. But pay
Oh my God. Can you just show us the fucking document?
close attention to the math. Quote, 3/4 of the class will be Caucasian. 1/4 of the class will be African American. 1 seat will hold a Latino. And the remaining seats will be filled with students of Asian descent or non-resident aliens.
Yes, because those numbers are generalizations. You have... If you were actually doing this as a pie chart, it would look like 3/4 were taken up one way, 1/4 was taken up another way, and then there were outliers over here. Can you show it?
In other words, somehow Dr. Biden accounted for all 5/4 of the class.
Wait, did she say that one of those was a quarter? No, she didn't, Tucker.
Which actually isn't easy. You've got to pay very close attention to do something like that. As the dissertation continues, so does Dr. Jill's habit of counting things in non-traditional ways. On page
Oh my God, it's counted non-traditionally, the horror.
7, for example, she writes this, quote, of the 159 students surveyed, 55 received financial aid, 41 paid their own tuition bills, 45 students' parents pay, 3 spouses pay, 9 received scholarships, and 9 others received funds for the GI Bill, vocational rehabilitation programs, or grant. Now, we said that fast, but did you follow the accounting there? Jill Biden surveyed 159 students, but she received a total of 162 responses.
Is that true? Hold on, Tucker. Let's break out the trusty calculator. It's not that I don't trust that Tucker can't count. So we have 155 minus 55 minus 41 minus 45 minus 3 minus 9. And then you said that there were minus 9. Wait, Tucker! Tucker, hold on! Wait. Tucker, what number did you say this was?
Or grant. Now, we said that fast, but did you follow the accounting there? Jill Biden surveyed 159 students, but she received a total of 162 responses. The accounting there?
Wait, okay, so we're going to do this. There were 9 on the other page, plus 9, plus 3, plus 45, plus 41, plus 55. Okay, 162. At least he can count. I added it up wrong the first time, but at this point, though, let's see here. If you are reading this, Does Tucker not know that not all scholarships cover everything? If 9 people received scholarships, but those scholarships were partial, then they would pay their own tuition bills and also receive scholarships. In fact, actually, given that there were 9 people who received scholarships, it's very likely that a third of those people receiving scholarships did not receive full scholarships and therefore had to receive some type of financial aid, or also paid their own tuition bills, or also had their parents pay the remainder. Does Tucker not understand that? Does this man not know how college tuition works? Scholarships don't always pay everything. Partial coverage is a thing. Has Tucker been so privileged that this man doesn't realize that tuitions don't just cover everything all the time? Tucker, I'm shocked that a man of your, what the fuck is your net worth? I am so shocked that a man of Tucker Carlson net worth, how much could a news anchor possibly make? That's certainly a number. I can't possibly imagine how somebody worth this much, whose salary is this much, could possibly not understand that not everybody gets a full ride scholarship. I am frankly shocked. I don't know what to say. But let's continue.
55 received financial aid, 41 paid their or grant. Total of 162 responses. So go ahead and try that at home. You can't.
We did it at home, actually, and we provided an example here on this stream of how this exact scenario could happen. But, you know.
Not a doctor. And it goes on. At one point, Dr. Jill suggests, and this is innovative, that, quote, the administration may want to consider in future planning an 8-week study week. An 8-week week.
A program called Study Week that functions for 8 weeks, or 8 study weeks. Or, even more likely, and this is probably the most likely one, misspeaking, which happens over typing too, a mistype. If you want to sit there and take this entirely seriously and go, aha, look, you misspoke! You're an idiot! Like, no, that happens all the time, Tucker. But again, I'm just trying to steel man what's here, whereas Tucker is trying to build up a man of straw.
Bet you no one in the administration thought of that before. In their tired, Western, linear approach to time and space, there was only a single week in a week. Yet another relic of the patriarchy. But once Jill Biden smashed the glass ceiling that shielded community colleges in Delaware from new progressive approaches to time management,
every word out of your mouth was straight propaganda. And the worst part is, I can say exactly which family members of mine are going to be spouting the same shit.
a week could have 8 full weeks. As Jill Biden herself might say, that's an 8,000% increase. Not bad. All right, we're being cruel there.
No, Tucker, it's not that you're being cruel. Though you are being cruel, the definition of cruelty being when you have other options besides the behavior you're engaging in and you still choose to behave in it. Yes, you are technically engaging in cruelty. However, I will say that what you are engaging in right now is pedantry and you know what? Let's go ahead and do some misspeaking. We will purposefully misspeak because it apparently it's apparently the thing that gets Tucker Carlson off. When he's sitting there with his dry sack of balls and he is unable to get it up, because, let's be fair, it's Tucker. He probably isn't able to. The only thing that gets him off is rapid pedantry. So, we'll go ahead and say that it's stupidiosity. A fun word that he can then put on his show and freak out about.
We got to be honest and tell you that not all of Jill Biden's dissertation is hallucinogenic fantasy. Some of her claims seem real. Some are easily verified. Take this one.
I also like how in the chat it was just noted by Cooper Jacks that 8 weeks in 1 week would not be an 8,000% increase. It would be a 700% increase on top of the first 100%. Almost as if Tucker is just as bad at math as he's assuming that Jill Biden is. But let's go on.
Quote, according to the retention director at Cecil Community College has made a concerted effort to address retention, end quote.
What's weird about that quote?
So there you have it. In Delaware, retention directors say they're addressing retention. So consider the debate over Cecil Community College's retention efforts settled.
That's not what Where did she say that it's settled? It literally just says, according to the retention director at Cecil Community College, the college has made a concerted effort to address retention. If it's still making that effort, the debate's not settled in any case. Where did you pull that from, Tucker? Or is it that you pulled that from an area that might legitimately be in that document, but you're refusing to show the entire thing on your show because you know that showing the... You know what, Frank, let's just be just as cruel as Tucker. Your audience can't fucking read.
Straight from the source. And there are a lot of newsy bits like that in Dr. Jill's dissertation. Go ahead and read it yourself.
Wait, isn't this the same guy that said that it was written in an alien language made up of English? Every single word in this that he has shown has been completely comprehensible.
It's still online, at least for now. But whatever you do, do not make fun of it. If you dare to notice that Dr. Jill isn't a super genius, you hate all women. You're a dangerous misogynist.
Who said that?
But many are saying what was written about Dr. Jill Biden would have never been written about a man.
And that managed to be petty, elitist, and misogynistic all at once.
Well, yeah, you are actively engaging in misogyny because the reason you're being actively cruel in this case is not because you legitimately don't think that she's intelligent. It's because you illegitimately think she's not intelligent based on the fact that she's a woman. Now, you're not going to outright say that, but people like Tucker can celebrate people like Trump regardless of his typos, but when it comes to somebody who is a Democrat and also a woman, suddenly that script gets flipped. It's not out of left field, to say that this is a form of misogyny. Because the reason you're doing this is because she's FLOTUS, and because you don't want to argue that they're a doctor. Because they're not a doctor by profession, they're a doctor by education.
Numerous professors told the New York Times the suggestion that Dr. Biden not use the honorific was blatantly sexist and emblematic of the way many men question or disparage women's credentials.
But really, it's...
Yeah, just like, okay, so let's go ahead and point out something real quick, okay? Dr. Fauci, he is a virologist, correct? This is not somebody who you would put in the surgery and say, oh, we have the best doctor here. He's going to perform a surgery on you. Because even though he is a doctor and he's earned that title, he's not a doctor in the particular field required to do open heart surgery, for instance. That same argument would function for him, but you're not using it for them. There are other reasons Tucker would like to dismiss Fauci, but I don't think one of them has been saying that he's not a doctor. But go on. Also, I've just given a Discord... I've just been given Biden's dissertation, which had I not already been 21 minutes into this recording, I would be reading right now.
Dumb.
Let's see.
It's outrageous.
Yeah.
Ooh, they're so touchy. Interesting.
Look at this fucking picture. This grossly photoshopped on hands there. Is that even... Are they photoshopped on backwards? These hands are photoshopped on backwards. What? Okay. Sure.
They're telling you that no one would ever call a man dumb. Okay, well, that's wrong. We call Dr. Jill's husband dumb all the time. In fact, we're going to go full feminist here and admit that Dr. Jill is a lot smarter than the man she married.
Oh my god, it's not feminist to say that a singular woman is smarter than a singular man. That's not a feminist statement. That's just a value judgment. Moreover, it is not misogyny to criticize a woman. It is misogyny to criticize a woman on the basis that they are a woman. Nobody said that you wouldn't call a man dumb. It is being said that in the exact same scenario, in this scenario right now, which would mean that we would have not a first lady, but a first husband, in that scenario, this same thing would not be happening. Which is likely true. It's not being said, as your straw man so eloquently put it, that nobody would call a man dumb. People call men stupid all the time. Hell, I think my stupidity is probably the only good defining trait I have. What's being said is that in the exact same scenario, if everything were flipped and reversed, this would not be happening in the same way. It wouldn't be manifesting the same way. Because it's manifesting based on a conservative issue with women. The idea that women are lesser. You don't have the same problems calling other people doctor when they've earned their doctorate, but suddenly now that it's Jill Biden, it's an issue. Ben Shapiro's been on about this. Other fucking conservative people have been on about this. But this wasn't a conversation until there was a Dr. Flotus that you had to deal with right now on the ass end of Trump's presidency. It became an issue now, and it wasn't one being talked about, at least not seriously, until here on a wide scale. The reason for that is, I can't think of a reason for that besides some flavor of misogyny at that point. I can't. And I'm sure that you can argue that, no, we're not saying that, but if you're not saying it in other scenarios, then why are you doing it here? I don't think there's much more to cover here with Tucker. I really don't. I find this whole argument stupid. You have to willfully ignore the divide between a doctor of medicine and a doctor per education. A PhD literally means that you're a doctor of philosophies. Philosophies of a particular field that you've specialized in, which may or may not be fucking medicine. But Tucker knows what he's doing. He knows. The best part is, he's legally protected because you can't take him seriously. This is the new Obama isn't American. Yeah. Medical doctors are usually MDs, not PhDs. Probably a good point to point out, but I didn't point it out there because, like I said, me am the big stupid. Big flagrant stupid. But I do think that's all the segments that I have time to cover today. At least all that I want to cover for the time being. Neo-birtherism. But yeah, no. What I don't understand is that he didn't take his opportunity to provide segments in the dissertation where it was not our language. He didn't take the opportunity to do that. He just kind of did his thing and quote mined. Okay, Hunter Biden's a druggie. Joe Biden isn't a doctor, but Joe Biden's still going to be president. Yeah. We're just gonna go ahead and call this the religion of neo-doctorism. CEO of Saber is correct there. That's what we'll do. Why does any of this matter? Somebody became a PhD. None of this matters. It really doesn't. Too lazy for this says, does that mean I have to go to sleep instead of making fun of this idiot on Twitter? You don't have to go to sleep. You can make fun of an idiot on Twitter all you want. But I know that that's the end of this stream. Insofar as I can manage to do literally anything after this. Probably gonna get food. Food sounds good. Probably grab us some food, see what's actually available around here, around this time of morning. Anyways, before we go, I want to answer this one, though. Nightshade says, thoughts on using words like stupid and dumb despite them being ableist. So, I think people who say that stupid and dumb are ableist are trying to read too far into the fact that we used to diagnose idiocy based on measurements on an IQ test. But the words have become so far divorced from those original meanings that they're literally trying to claw them back to their worst meanings, when that's not what people mean these days. You have to ignore nomenclature in order to argue that they're ableist. So my thoughts on using those words, people who have an issue with those words can choose not to use them, but people who have an issue with those words and tell me not to use them are stupid and dumb. That would be my response. Ryla says, I stayed up just for you. Good night. Well, thank you for staying up. With that said, though, I want to thank Blair for donating $10. That was 24 minutes ago, and I didn't get it right as it happened. Limbo says, I was going to ask if you can explain labor theory of values, as it makes no sense, but the stream is basically over. I can do that very briefly. Adam Smith's labor theory of value is this. If I have a piece of wood, and we value that wood at $1, but then I have a sculpture, and that sculpture is valued at $15, my labor put $14 worth of value into that wood, and that sculpture would not have its value without the labor I put into it. Now, this is value as divorced from price. The price of something can be anything, but its value is going to be based on whoever's looking at it. For instance, I value a Kindle Fire tablet that I'm going to use in my kitchen as a recipe device very highly, but I bought it used off of somebody who valued it at $10. They didn't value it a whole lot, but I value it more. It means more to me. That's different value distinctions, and then also prices reflecting that. But the labor theory of value is that it is labor that gives material value. Cyrus gets a new stove. Also, Cyrus, Waffle House. Because the kitchen's not done yet. The kitchen is still a workshop. David, you see what the kitchen looks like right now. And we're painting. So it's both subjective and labor. Yeah. Like, again, value is divorced from price in this, but labor theory of value in the shortest of terms is value is added onto material when labor is put into it. Again, my kitchen, a contractor doing that work would be about $20,000 of work. It's $20,000 of value at that point. But me doing it with the exact same materials costed me less, but the value of it is a whole lot more. The value of a house is going to be higher than the materials used to make the house. Because the value of a completed house, we value it matters more to me that there's a completed house than it matters more that there's a pallet of wood planks out here. And my house has shit tons of wood planks everywhere right now. So maybe this allegory is hitting a little too close to home. But, you know, like I said, the short is just labor adds value to material. Again, value is divorced from price. So don't fall for the trap that, but if it costs more. No. The value is subjective, but in long straights, value is added to that material when labor is applied to it. So yay. Your pipe is an ideal example. You would have had a super need for a contractor to do an emergency call, and that would have increased his value. Yeah, emergency calls are expensive. The last plumber we called was $500 to replace a single pipe just because I didn't know how. Fucking hell. This house is going to be a money sink. But eventually it's not going to be. Eventually it will just be a living abode. Hopefully. Anyways. Thank you all for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the stream. I'm going to go ahead and hit this button here.